If there is anything that needs to be satirized and remixed, it is Trump talking about massive dumps. And by the way, extra points, if you can sample Trump saying massive dumps and me talking about it in a song, please do it.
Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dump.
Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dump.
Dump. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sir, you just
Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dump.
dump. Big massive dumps.
Donald Trump insisted multiple times that it was massive dumps that led him to lose the election, which is just
on another level, on another level.
Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sir, you just
Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dump.
dump. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sir, you just
Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dump.
dump. Big massive dump.
You turn the faucet on in areas where there's tremendous amounts of water, where the water rushes out to sea. You could have people are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once. Quietly dripping.
Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sir, you just
Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dump.
dump. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dump.
Dumps.
what is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. I mean, massive dumps cost him the election. What is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. I mean, massive dumps cost him the election. What is going on here?
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps.
Dumps that
Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Toilets 10 times.
Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dump.
Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
multiple times.
Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dump.
Dumps.
I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know.
You know, if you go out and you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card. You need ID.
He wants to host next year's G7 summit at his own Doral Golf Club.
Got to take care of the floors, you know, the floors of the forests. Very important. Frederick Douglass is an example of somebody who's done an amazing job and is being recognized more and more, I notice.
Ivanka Trump, the president's daughter, is sitting in for the Secretary of State.
Remember that incredible night with the maps? And the Republicans are red, and that map was so red from Suchin Tendulkar to Virat Kohli.
Trump tweeting, "The New York Times, they are a true enemy of the people."
I think we have enough of an interview here, Hope. Okay, that's enough. Let's go.
This Russian bounty story, we have multiple sources saying that Trump knew all along.
I was there for a tiny, little short period of time, and it was much more for an inspection. There was no problem during the day.
And said, quote, "Crazy Joe Biden, he doesn't know me, but he would go down fast and hard, crying all the way."
They'll go out and they'll vote, and they're going to have to go and check their vote by going to the poll and voting that way. People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once.
The State Department is emphasizing to world leaders that they should stay at Donald Trump's hotels.
And they say the noise causes cancer. You tell me that one, okay?
Trump ordered Robert Mueller, the special prosecutor, be fired. The factory policy is wear a mask at all times, and Trump puts on goggles but no mask.
And we're building a wall in Colorado. We're building a beautiful wall.
Trump floated the idea of swapping Puerto Rico for Greenland. The ramp that I descended after my West Point commencement speech was very long.
All right, welcome everybody. We're not going to go through that entire thing. It is the Rare Weekend stream. We are bringing you live from New Richmond, Wisconsin, the Frank Speech Rally. It is an incredible event, and this is apparently the only stream. They can't even size it correctly, so like we can either see the top of the shot or the bottom of the shot. I messed around with this for 20 minutes. Even if I start zooming out, like it does, I guess, okay, that kind of helps a little bit, but not really. Like the difference between zoomed in normally and all the way out, it's marginally better. Like they just can't do anything. They can't do anything. And the lineup for this is join Mike and his friends on Saturday, June 12th in beautiful Wisconsin to rally together for free speech. Gates open at 9 a.m., program at 11:10. That's Central, so that's, 20 minutes from now. Watch for the aerial banner plane prior to the event. Speakers live on stage. Mike Lindell, Diamond and Silk, Charlie Kirk, Brannon Howes, Chris Cox, Dinesh D'Souza, Danielle D'Souza, and Sheriff Clark. I think that was just Sheriff Clark that we were looking at. And then, yes, Donald Trump will be part of this event, delivering some kind of speech. Now, it's interesting. They use the term in real time rather than live. And I wonder if there's some significance to that. But it's a who's who of wacky stuff. Let's just listen a little bit to who is this guy? What could he possibly be talking about? Oh, the problem with having this zoomed out is I can't even...
Or call him at 800-506-9028 to support all this. To support Mike and his team. Mike paid for all of this. These people behind me are here for free. You're watching frankspeech.com for free, celebrating free speech so you can reward Mike.
All right, so we're going to keep an eye on it, and it's pretty wild. I'm not going to lie. And just to celebrate what we're doing, we have created a new coupon code. Oh, hold on. I've got to fix my Twitch subs thing. We have a new coupon code, and that code is MyPillow50, which you can use for just a massive discount. And it's sort of like a middle finger to the MyPillow people. But we have done that. It's a big grift. It's a really, really big grift. Okay. Let's get into so many different things. People, it's so great to be back. People wondering why there were no streams last week. The reason why there were no streams last week is explained in detail on yesterday's bonus show. I will tell you, it is because of an electrical issue that I didn't even know could be a thing. It was a heretofore unknown electrical issue that I didn't think was possible. But as a result of that, there were no streams during the last week. And you can find out the full story on the Friday, June 11 bonus show. I do want to say thank you to a few people here who have subscribed via Twitch. Combo Carl, Monodrizzle, The Font Peg, Retail Disciple, Gravis, Cosmos, GeoVenture, JP the Beast and Already Exists is number 8, Guitar Goddess number 9. So I do appreciate everybody getting us kicked off there. And okay, let's just get right into a bunch of different things. I do have some unban requests to adjudicate because we haven't had a stream in a little while. When you are banned on Twitch, if you want to appeal that ban, you can do so. And I'm going to adjudicate 3 of these right now. We are assembling here as a court of unban requests. A user named Come Ally Faithful showed up in early May and said, "Don't you have enough money, you greedy Jew rat?" They were banned immediately. Their unban request was simply greedy rat. That is a permaban. Let's go to the next one here. User Blue Feather said, "Hey, David Pakman, can I be banned so I can make a silly unban request?" They were then banned. Their unban request is, "Phil asked to be banned so I could make a silly unban request." And then you failed. I won't make that perma for now, but it's like you got what you asked for and then you didn't even do it. It's almost like you're just wasting my time. Really weird. All right, and then a user named Big Baller showed up and said, Trump 2024, and then they were banned. And then they said, not sure why I got banned. Now Jabby, we love you. I don't think that warrants a ban. I really don't. Just Trump 2024. Trump 2020 maybe warrants a ban because it's like, it's over. But Trump 2024, I'm going to adjudicate that unbanned. You are back. But if you do show up and put Trump 2024, 100 times, you're going to be banned again. Banned again. Banned again. Banned again. All right. Very good. So we're caught up as far as unban requests go. Few super chats coming in. Daniel says, stream gleam, take your coffee with cream. Diana sends a 10 British pound super chat and says for the coffee fund. And Chris Benucci says, what are your thoughts on Maya Wiley for New York City mayor? If you were still in New York City, would you rank her number one? I am not, I don't know enough about her to say. I don't know enough about her to say. Let's check in briefly here with what's going on at the rally. Okay. Now, just to let you guys know ahead of time, we may be kicked off Twitch and YouTube and maybe Facebook for streaming this. If that happens, it would be the biggest hypocrisy from Frank's speech, who says it should just be speech. Let people speak, broadcast people speaking, get voices out there. Don't ban, don't do this. If we then were to get banned for broadcasting this, you will hear from me, my friends. You will hear from me, my friends. Now, I'm kind of weirdly off center here. I did make some changes. Let's see if we can put me back in the middle. There we go. I think that's better. Okay, good. And Claudio Bautista sends a $20 super chat saying only, you are amazing. Thanks, Claudio. I appreciate that. Okay, if you're just joining us, today is the day for the Frank Speech Rally in New Richmond, Wisconsin. Donald Trump will be speaking at this rally in what is being described as real time. It's not being described as live, but it's being described as in real time. The full lineup, as you can see here, includes Mike Lindell himself, Diamond and Silk, Charlie Kirk, and then I don't know who Brandon House is. I don't know Chris Cox. Dinesh D'Souza I'm familiar with. I assume Danielle D'Souza is his wife. And then Sheriff Clark is that crazy racist sheriff who people, I guess, love because I think he's black and racist. I don't really know. Newsmax does not appear to be covering this yet. It really seems like the only place where this is live is on Mike Lindell's website. It's all crazy. It's all really, really crazy. So it's all starting soon. And in celebration of this, and by celebration, I mean in the deep despair that the fact that an event like this is happening, we have a one-day coupon code, MyPillow50, MyPillow50, all one word, and you can use that at joinpacman.com. It's really basically just a protest discount. It's a protest coupon code in protest of everything that is going on here. Maddie Boom Boom says, Mr. Pacman, sir, look at that religious symbolism mixed with the American flag. Where is it? Did they put a cross? Oh, down in the lower left here. Yeah, they've got a cross mixed with the flag. It's all nuts, guys. It's really, really nuts. Sunil Matwani asks if the Trump speech will be pre-recorded. Maybe that's why they say in real time. I also want to say thank you to Blue Feather as well as a Danish Joint for subscribing via Twitch. I do have a few of these, what we call them 661 voicemails. This is the very homophobic, transphobic, anti-Semitic woman. I'm not doxing anyone by saying 661. There's millions and millions of people with 661 phone calls, area codes, and it's not even really 661. I'm just calling it 661. Let's listen to a couple and just see what's going on.
It's funny how in a society where people are condemning the rich and meanwhile criminals are being plastered on TV like idols and movie stars and stuff like that. And it's just like, I really think the dead weight are obviously criminals, people we should hate who do bad things. And it's obvious leaving them.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
As far as like working in a society together with investments, I feel like society has to start getting along better and start having some sort of like philosophy. And
that's a good idea. Okay, let's continue. By the way, each of these is a separate 3-minute voicemail that times out.
Where people are being encouraged in society, where it's like, you know, some people are just deemed to be, where they're like trying to make groups and just be thought of as worthy.
Well, I don't know what any of this is about. Here's another one.
Hi, David. I was researching about millionaires, about how they're unsuccessful or something in society. And I'm really oddly weirded out on how people aren't prepared to inherit their allowance and how.
Whoa, I just don't know what these are about. Let's just look at one more. This one's something about racism.
Hi. So I was researching about this Neanderthal genetics. I guess Africa completely is evolved from Neanderthal genetics.
All right, that we're getting away from that, and let me see if there's just anything else. I guess that's really it. Let's see one more.
Hi, I was wondering if you could kind of further explain capitalism. I was thinking maybe capitalism could create a society that's less racist, and maybe it's not as economically useful.
All right, and then just one more.
What about Middle Eastern women? About how I feel like there's not enough attention on who they are as people or what they're going through and stuff like that. I feel like they're a little bit more dehumanized.
All right, well, that's interesting. Let me see people asking about Jimmy from Philly. I don't think I have any Jimmy from Philly stuff. Let's see.
Yes, David Backman. A few weeks or a few days ago, you were mocking former President Trump about his blog that he closed down, and you thought that was somehow funny. And well, I just want to let you know he still has an online presence, and he trolled Joseph Biden and told him not to fall asleep. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about, him closing the blog. He must have reopened another one.
Must have.
And perhaps you should check into it and get your facts.
Yep, we will get into that. And then Eric from Massachusetts continues to troll.
Hey, David, what's up? It's Eric from Massachusetts. How you doing? I just wanted to tell you, check the Constitution, Article 2, Section 4. That's the answer you wanted about Biden will be removed, and that will probably happen on the 14th.
The 14th of what? The 14th of this month? The 14th month since he left off? What? The 14th of what? Oh, there is something from Jimmy from Philly. Hold on a second. Check this out.
Jimmy from Philly. What? David, regarding your video you just put out titled a new whatever on climate change. I can't remember. It's not really that important because it's a stupid video. But you had to call the kid Jimmy, didn't you? That hurts.
Man, these are, I don't know what he's taught. These are real people that exist in the world. How do you even get dressed? Oh, man. That might be it.
Your advocation for the San Jose gun insurance is absolutely ridiculous. How do you like podcaster insurance? And
I have insurance. Yeah, we have insurance. What do you mean? That I have insurance. I have, liability insurance. I have what insurance? I've got umbrella insurance. Yeah, that's fine. I have insurance. That's good.
that makes about as much sense in gun insurance as maybe having insurance on a refrigerator or a ceiling fan.
Most people's refrigerators are insured through either homeowners insurance or condo insurance or renters insurance. And also, how many people are killed by fridges every year? Man, just really weaponized ignorance out there. All right, so that's it as far as voicemails go. I do want to say thank you to Steve Dupree, who just signed up at joinpacman.com using the coupon code BETTER21. Remember that there is a massive special coupon code today on my website. The coupon code is MyPillow50. because of this event that we're standing by for, the MyPillow rally with Donald Trump and all these people. MyPillow 50. You can use that coupon code today only at joinpacman.com. And it's a really, really great thing. I also want to say thank you to 27 for the Twitch sub, as well as Giant Duck, both of whom signed up via Twitch. Super chats are coming in. Let me see here. Kind of weird to place an illustration of a device designed to torture people to death over the flag and calling themselves patriots. What? I don't even know what you're talking about. What is that? What is that a reference to? A torture device over the flag. I don't see that. Chris says, any thoughts on the AMC saga? Have you been to the movies? I haven't been to the movies in years, and I didn't follow the AMC meme stock saga too much. We did do one bit of cover. Oh, the cross itself. Oh, I see. We did a bit of coverage on it on the bonus show a week and a half ago. Roberto says, how many people are there now and how many are expected? Gracias por todo lo que haces en tu canal. I don't know how many are I don't know anything about how many people. I mean, I don't know how much of the crowd this is. It looks like it's about to start. The screen just went off. Let's listen a little bit. Okay. I can't imagine Billy Joel wants anything to do with this. Billy Joel should sue and demand it stops right away. Sammy says, David, what do you think makes all the evangelicals fall over Trump like he's become Jesus Christ? Well, he claimed to be against abortion, and Hillary was pro-choice. That's basically it. And then they just mostly voted for him. Thanks to Ragin' Tater. Ragin' Tater just gifted 10 subs over on Twitch. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Also, thank you to Rochelle Smith. Rochelle is the first person in history to get a membership on my website with the coupon code MyPillow50. Rochelle is new member number 25 today. That might, whenever I see that and it says terms, 50% off with coupon MyPillow50, I just laugh to myself. It's really just entertainment for me. People asking for unban requests. I've already gone through them. We've already adjudicated all unban requests. Nothing happening there. Is there another Noam Chomsky interview planned? Well, no, we just interviewed him 10 days ago. How soon do you want me to interview him again? I don't know. But we have been. Oh, by the way, speaking of TikToks, we've been posting to TikToks, and I love. This is hold on. What user is this? This is Omaha Cat Lady. She did a duet with our TikToks post. This was fantastic. Check this out.
Starbucks uses gay semen in their coffee to make it taste good. Where did that come from?
Gays tend to love each other's semen, and it flavors up the coffee. They like the taste of it. It flavors it up.
This lady cracks me up. I had never heard of the North Omaha Cat Lady. She has a gigantic following. She's got 500,000 followers on TikToks. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, so I really like that she did that. And what else? Oh, how is Pacman Live going? Pacman Live is going well. The second channel is live. It's called Pacman Live. We dropped in our first 4,000 subscribers. The Pacman Live channel actually has clips from the streams. People who often miss the streams say, I want to see the highlights. It's really low lights, but we don't have room on the main channel. So now we have the second channel, and we'll put some of the TikToks on and Pacman Live. Yeah, davidpacman.com/Pacman Live is how to find it. Maybe moderators can paste the link in the chat on all these various platforms, but it's going well, and we're headed to the first 5,000. We've been adding more and more content, and that is all. It's all great. Okay, so that's Pacman Live, and then what else? I guess that's really it. We're mostly caught up on everything and standing by for the Frank Speech event. Other super chats coming in. Love the weekend streams. Thank goodness for Satter David, says Anne. Love it. Ferret says weddings in 2 weeks, rehearsal dinner tonight. Wow, isn't the rehearsal dinner usually the day before? Super stressed. Thanks for giving me a distraction to help me get through it. Absolutely, Ferret Queen. I don't know what sort of a schedule you've got going there. It looks like MyPillow has arrived. Let's take a listen. It's starting. Nice wide shot.
Hello, everybody.
Oh my God.
We're going to get ready to start with our national anthem, but I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. This day is going to be a historical day.
And historic.
Our First Amendment rights of free speech.
First Amendment rights of free speech.
I want to thank all the media that showed up, and I want to say one thing. Where's Fox?
Right.
You know, this is part of our cancel culture and our free speech being suppressed.
Yep.
When you got Fox, who's supposed to be
this is the best.
whatever, and you can't even go on there and say anything anymore. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we're going to talk about a lot of that today. The people the speakers we having, they've all been canceled like a lot of you have, where our voices on YouTube, on Vimeo, on Suckabucks Facebook, on Twitter. All these places in the mainstream media where you can't talk about anything if you say the wrong thing about your faith or about machines or vaccines or
machines.
They decide what you can and can't say. The governor of Wisconsin, or not the governor, Ron Johnson, the senator here in Wisconsin.
Right.
He just got, I think it was a 7-day suspension for talking about hydroxychloroquine that they've proven now did great.
This is the best.
How shameful is that? They're even censoring us after the fact.
Right.
You know, this is horrible what's going on in our country for free speech.
Free speech.
We're going to get started now. I'm going to have Brandon come out here. We're going to sing the national anthem. It's going to be the best festival you've ever seen.
Yep.
And I wanted to again thank you all for coming. God bless you.
All right. We will mute the national anthem, not out of disrespect, but just because we have so many other things to keep doing and talking about, and it's all happening. This is going to be crazy. I do want to say thank you to Nug Wrangler for gifting 5 subs, as well as Jonesy, Shattered Relics, Dark Warrior. That is 8 additional folks who just signed up there via Twitch. And I can't thank people enough using the coupon code MyPillow50. Sean Raja just signed up on my website with the code MyPillow50. Christine Carson is a new member at joinpacman.com with the coupon code MyPillow50. One real quick thing people might like. Here's a possible intro, WGBH style, for the new Pacman Live channel. Tell me what you think about this. I think that this is cool. Okay, you guys like that? That's a possible intro for the new channel. I think that's interesting. I wonder how long the e-pill lasts until he needs a refill. If you're on TikTok, when do we see some booty? It's great to see you covering these atrocious disinformation rallies. I can't get enough of Republicans making fools of themselves nationally. By the way, how long? Isn't the anthem only like 90 seconds? What is happening here?
Banner yet wave.
Oh, man, I should have played it. Oh, my God.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
MyPillow is like davening like an Orthodox Jew. It's weird. That's strange. I thought he was like evangelical. What a bizarre event. Do you think they have fried dough and cheese curds and stuff?
Okay, you guys, we got a little surprise coming here.
Uh-oh. That can't be good.
You hear him coming? What time is it now? Wow, what a crowd. You guys are awesome. I want to thank you again all for being here. You guys, we're going to have what beautiful weather. Thank you, God. This is amazing.
Yeah. What a mess.
This is, are they, when are they? They're surprised in the sky here.
Oh, I guess there's like 4 planes that are going to fly over.
30 seconds.
Didn't get the timing quite right.
Can't time this. I'm not going to run for anything until these machines are gone.
Right. Right. Oh, sorry. I do want to say thanks to Colin Shea for signing up with the coupon code MyPillow50. We have this nutty coupon code MyPillow50, all one word, all lowercase, at joinpacman.com. In honor or horror of this guy.
Can they see him? What's up?
He's on mic. He doesn't even seem to realize it. From what I read, he organized 4 airplanes to fly over. It says here, a 4-plane military flyover.
We're going to start right now with Brandon Leadus and God Bless America.
Let's get my mic back. Here we go. Would you join me in singing God Bless America while we wait on this surprise?
They're stalling now because of the surprise.
God bless America.
America. Oh, my God.
Land that I love, stand beside her and guide her.
Pure comedy.
Through the night with the light from above, from the mountains.
There is no better entertainment than this. I mean, what is funnier than this?
Through the oceans, white with foam. God bless America.
Now it's cutting.
My home, sweet home. God
Why does he say America? America.
My home, sweet home.
Did he say boom?
If you are here and you served or are serving in our armed forces, would you please raise your hand right now? Would you join me in thanking those who are active military?
FBI, take notice. These are the folks to keep an eye on in August. Making it easy.
But former or current law enforcement, would you please raise your hands? Join me in thanking them for their service.
God bless America. Yeah.
If you are a first responder, firefighter, EMT, raise your hand, will you please?
I guess they're waiting for a flyover and it's delayed. I don't know.
All right. We are waiting on a flyover.
Yeah, okay.
But we're going to go ahead and get Kurt Landry up here. He is the founder of Kurt Landry Ministries, and he's going to open us with prayer today.
Oh, no.
Move your hats if you would.
All
and
right.
Welcome Kurt Landry.
I'll do the songs, but we're not doing the prayers. That's just nuts. So things already kind of off the rails. There was supposed to be a 4-plane flyover and smoke show of some kind, and it's delayed, and now they're bringing on a pastor, I guess. Thank you to Potato for subscribing via Twitch. Very much appreciate that. They're now doing prayers, I guess. I also want to say thank you to Brandy Jackson. Brandy Jackson just dropped in a huge membership using the coupon code MyPillow50. MyPillow50 is the today only coupon code, and Brandy just used it at joinpacman.com. Thanks, Brandy. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it seems maybe Rudy Giuliani was put in charge of the planes, and he misunderstood, and instead of Boeing, it's Boing Boing. It's like a paper plane company that does paper planes. It's really strange what's happening. Jacob says, serenade us, Brandon. Vinny Dem says, David, I've been watching your show since 1/6. Love you, dude. Speaking of 1/6, I just reported someone to the FBI for participating on 1/6. You rock. Thank you. I appreciate that. J. Harrison Rickert says, sorry, David, sending love. No need to apologize, or at least I'm not aware of why you're apologizing. I also want to say thank you to A. Betke. A. Betke just gifted 10 subscriptions via Twitch. Appreciate that. Man, this is, you just can't, it doesn't get any better than, I'm now curious about the prayer.
I agree in prayer. I am not a politician. I am a man of God. And the Bible says in Genesis, and God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion.
Right.
Dominion is a good word. Dominion comes from God.
Uh-oh.
Dominion is what Jesus hung on a cross
All right.
for.
so that
they're probably going in the direction of talking about Dominion voting machines, so we're going to get away with that, away from that. Jay Harrison says, sorry for having to deal with this crap, brother. Okay, I appreciate that. That I appreciate. Also, I want to say thank you to Ania Flanders, who just signed up on joinpacman.com with the coupon code MyPillow50. Thank you so much, Ania. I really appreciate your support as we are standing by for a flyover that has been. What do you think a flyover costs? Anybody have an idea? Could it be $100,000 for a 4-plane flyover? I guess it depends on whether it's like, a Cub or like an actual jet plane. I don't know. But could it be $100,000 for? I think if it was if it was just like, propeller planes, it would be cheap. But I'm guessing that's not what MyPillow is doing. Joe Rader asks, is this a political rally or a church service? I can't tell. Yeah, I really can't tell what it is. Weird.
Gospel is spread with the word of God. And in Revelation chapter 12:11, it says, and they overcame him, Satan, by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. We are the soul-winning nation. We have led more people to the Lord Jesus.
Is this all happening because they're mad that Trump lost? Like, is that really what this is all about? Is it just they're unhinged because of that? Are they telling this guy to just keep going because the flyover is delayed?
And it is not your time with your Antichrist spirit to raise up. And Father God, in the name of Yeshua, I speak an anointing like Elisha over Frank's speech, that all of those who speak on Frank's speech would be able to speak the inspired words. Would you say amen? They would be able to speak the truth. Would you say amen? They would be able to bring creative revelation. Would you say amen? And here's my prayer. It's in the book of John, chapter 1.
Man, all these books. He's Genesis, Revelation, the book of John. Hard to even keep all of this stuff straight. Yeah, this has got to be a lawsuit waiting to happen, right? Joseph says, waiting for Hugo Chavez to press the cringe button on those machines. I'm waiting for Dr. Eric Coomer to speak. I think that'll be happening soon. Thanks to Life is Good, as well as Wood for, now you're not going to get me with that, Wood for signing up on Twitch, as well as 13 Hours by Time Machine and NZ Cassie. That puts us at 53 today. Standing by for a flyover. Thanks to Timothy Goolsby, who just signed up on my website with the coupon code MyPillow50. Suzanne Bateman also just signed up with the coupon code MyPillow50. Do not adjust your TV. This really is so poorly produced that the lighting is a disaster and you can't even see the entire screen at once. We're doing the best we can, the absolute best we can. All right, I guess this guy's done now.
Of Jesus Christ, would you say amen? If you'd say these words after me, in Jesus' name, we bless Frank's speech to be the salt and light and the voice for our nation.
Maybe the flyover is canceled.
We will not look back. We will not be silent. God says in his word, let the redeemed of the Lord say so.
This is so, anybody who would find this like, oh, we're here for a cool thing, but it's delayed. Oh yeah, this is fun though. I like what this guy is doing. Like it's just mindless. Big thank you to Ian Giraz for signing up on my website with the coupon code MyPillow50. Also, thanks to Colin Lundqvist for signing up with the coupon code MyPillow50. That coupon code is titillating people, that's for sure. I don't even know what we're waiting for now. Okay, someone's coming back on stage.
Thank you, Pastor. All right, folks, we had some of our military Air Force veterans that were going to do a flyover for us. They still may be making it, but we have such a tight schedule. We're going to.
It's not happening. That's the best. They just can't find the planes.
And our first.
They're gone.
speakers today really need no introduction. We all know them. We all love them.
Flyover canceled.
Diamond and Silk. Will you please join me in welcoming Diamond and Silk?
I hope everybody's ready for this. Standing ovation for Diamond and Silk.
Americans, make some noise!
Oh, they're untangling the mics. I like that.
Oh my goodness, I am so happy to be here in Wisconsin. I love you all. Thank you so much.
Wisconsin.
Mike Lindell, he is truly a patriot. You all give it up for Mike Lindell.
Is the format that one of them just does hype?
I want you all to know that we are in the United States of America.
Oh.
Not the United States of China, but the United States of America.
I like that guy's shorts who just walked by.
Refuse to accept communism, socialism, and Marxism.
Please define those, Diamond or Silk. I don't know which is which.
We stay in the land of the free and the home of the brave, not slaves.
Right.
Now y'all know why we here.
I actually don't know.
It seems like somebody wants to silence our freedom of speech.
That's what it seems like.
But we can't let that happen. Thank God for frank speech.
Maybe somebody could explain why we're here. I don't know.
They don't want us talking about some things when it comes to this 2020 election.
That's right.
They keep telling us that we can't call it election fraud. But what they want us to call it, they borrowed the election. Well, if you borrowed it, how about you give it back?
I don't know that the one on the right really even needs a microphone.
You know, I really don't understand the left. They ran around for 4 years pushing Russia collusion and election interference for 4 years.
4 years?
And then after the election of 2020, when we say something, they want to call it an insurrection.
Right. Those crazy people.
Insurrection. We want election transparency.
Oh, man.
And sometimes with the left, because everything goes over their heads, you got to start at the bottom.
At the bottom, baby.
A lot of these people took an oath to uphold the Constitution.
Which people?
The first question is, was constitutional laws broken?
Was it?
The crowd would know that for sure. This is a crowd that knows constitutional law.
Some voter irregularities.
That's right.
And possibly, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to call it like it is.
Call it like it is, Diamond.
Voter fraud.
That's right.
So you all know they're doing these election audits across the country in Arizona and other places.
Yes.
I know y'all like that type of transparency.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now the Attorney General announced, here is what he said, I want to make sure I quote it.
Quote him.
That the Justice Department will scrutinize any post-election audits for evidence of voting law violation. But they wouldn't let us scrutinize the 2020 election, but they want to scrutinize the audits. I have a problem with that.
A big problem with that. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because we don't need the DOJ scrutinizing anything. What you should have been doing was looking into what happened in 2020.
That's right.
That wind feels so good blowing silk. I love it.
Oh, yes, it does.
Wow, this crowd's really energized. They're ready to do some activism.
So a lot of things have been happening in our country, you all. And they want us to think that we are divided. But let me tell you something. We are the United States of America.
Yeah.
Ooh, porta potties in the background. You gotta love that.
United.
School bus on the left.
And I have a bone to pick with some people, and I don't want nobody to get offended. But I have a bone to pick with some of our Republicans.
There's way more people watching my stream than are actually there.
Because how can you say you stand for the Constitution, you stand up for the American people, and you take and you hand our country over to these left-leaning radicals?
Does Silk do anything other than hype?
Now, they have a problem with us doing this audit, the forensic audit. Well,
Forensic.
To the left, since you all certified, now it's time for us to verify. That's what we need to do.
Oh, man.
And there's nothing wrong with voter transparency.
That's right.
We need some voter transparency.
That's right.
Now, everybody is all upset. You have a patriot like Mike Lindell standing on the front line.
On the front line.
Where is the RNC?
Where you at, RNC?
Where is the GOP?
Where you at, GOP?
Wow, they're really making a compelling case.
Stop asking us
For what, I don't know, but...
money for us if you can't fight for us.
That's right.
Huh.
If you can't fight for we, the American people, I don't plan to give you not one
There's not a single black person in the crowd, right?
red cent.
Not one.
I will be donating my money directly to Donald J. Trump. If you want money, go get it from Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney. But don't try to come after the American people, and you wouldn't stand up for the American people.
Right.
Had to get that on off my chest. And to Alahan Omar.
Alahan? Uh-oh.
The only thing I can tell you all, if you don't like this country, if you have a problem with the United States of America, you can leave. Bye.
I mean, wouldn't that apply to all of them who don't like Biden?
North, south, east, or west, you can go.
Then why don't these folks leave now?
That's right.
When you come into the United States of America, you need to assimilate to our ways, not your ways.
That's right.
It's getting pretty xenophobic, guys. Pretty crazy.
Don't tell me we need to defund the police. We need our police officers to protect and to serve. And let me go ahead on and get this off my chest too, Silk.
Go ahead on and get it off your chest too.
I need to sue Black Lives Matter.
Is that even an organization? Who do you sue?
For all of this foolishness that they've been pushing in this country.
That's right.
And stop talking about this critical race theory. It's a theory, right?
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a conspiracy theory.
Oh, man.
Because you know, anytime me and you say something, Silk, they always saying we spreading conspiracy theories.
That's what they say.
Well, you are.
What happens when it turns out to be a fact, Jack? You know, you all, they trying to divide us. We can't let that happen.
No, we cannot.
We can't let that happen. So Biden is talking about he building back better, but it looked like he's building back better.
She's attacking half the Republican Party and saying the other side is trying to divide them.
Because we have borders that's wide open that should be shut to illegal aliens.
That's right.
And please stop telling me they are immigrants. An immigrant get in line and wait their turn. An illegal alien comes in illegal.
How long could this possibly go on?
To my house and you break in, you are a burglar, not a guest.
That's right.
Somebody need to go tell Biden and his regime that. I heard he over there overseas.
What is she talking about?
Summit. I can tell he's leading from the back.
Yep.
Cognitive decline, walking in the back, leading from the back, mumbling words. He looked pitiful.
Not the video I saw.
And it's so sad that that's leading our country. And what you not gonna do, the left, the media, you not gonna lie to me and tell me that Biden had more black people to vote for him than the black president. You're not gonna get me to believe that. That's a lie.
That's a lie. It's a lie.
Okay.
That's a lie.
And if y'all don't believe me, all you have to do is go walk in the hood and start asking questions. But the left, they don't want you to
Imagine being at this. Like, I'd be really re-examining my life if I was there.
That's what they're going to say. No, it's not conspiracy theory. It's critical.
Imagine leaving and being like, wow, that was really great.
Man that hid in the basement. The whole campaign. Half sleep. Couldn't get a crowd to show up. No, I'm sorry. You didn't win no election. It looked like y'all may have stolen an election. And that's my humble opinion. I can have an opinion because the constitutional right tells me that I have a right to freedom of speech.
No one's taking it away. What you're saying is idiotic. There's going to be consequences, which will be people think you're dumb.
And we black women in this country, we can speak our piece.
Isn't that identity politics?
You're not gonna bully us into a corner.
No, you're not.
That's identity politics, isn't it? Camera scanning for black people in the crowd.
You're not gonna do that. Let me tell you something. When people from Venezuela and Cuba come to this country, they come to this country because they have a place to run to. If we as Americans do not stand up against this tyranny, where are we going to run?
Wait, so immigration is good or bad?
We have no place to run.
I don't even get it.
Because the United States is the greatest country on earth.
This event is making me doubt that. I'm questioning whether that's true.
You ain't got no place to hide. These people want to radicalize our children. They want to radicalize the college students. They want you to go along with the radicalization. You should say, hell no to Jim Crow Joe.
Whoa. That's pretty strong there.
Now, forgive me for my little cousin, but you know hell is in the Bible.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, I'm just tired. All of them can.
She's got to be to the end of her notes.
I'm tired of this. Yeah, and I want to sue the whole government, too.
Yes.
Sue everybody.
You done sat here. We in the midst of a pandemic. We done gained all of this COVID weight.
All of this weight.
What do you think they get paid for this? 8,000 each, maybe?
What's his name, girl?
Dr. Flip Flop Fauci.
Has been undercoverly flip-flopping on the American people. And let me just say this. I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
No.
Uh-oh.
You do whatever you have to do for your family.
That's right.
But how dare you try to bribe me with a burger and a French fry and tell me I need to stick something.
Now they're against businesses offering stuff?
How dare you?
Yeah.
What?
we still stay in the United States of America.
That's right.
If you want this to be the United States of China, then take your behind to China. But this is the United States of America.
Does China bribe people with burgers? Is that what they're saying?
I don't know nothing about no communism.
No, we don't.
That's clear.
I don't know nothing about no socialism.
That's true.
I don't know nothing about no Marxism.
You know nothing about it, I know.
Oh, no.
Now, I don't know what these people trying to push. You got the Black Lives Matter movement, want to emasculate our men, want to get rid of the nuclear family, pushing to defund the police. How is that going to help us as Americans?
Anybody need a mercy ban?
And then you flying those flags on our embassies. The only flag that should be flying on any embassy here in the United States is the United States American flag.
That's all. That's it.
I guess this is real, yeah.
States of America, not the United States of Black Lives Matter.
That's right.
Strong statement.
In this country, all of our lives matter. You have Black lives, white lives, Hispanic lives, Native American lives.
Yes.
All of our lives matter.
All of them.
Now, for some of you all, if you don't like the United States of America, how about you go build yourself an island? And
What?
move over there with that foolishness.
That's right.
But here we're united.
That's right.
And let me just say this, y'all. I know you all think this is just about politics, but really this is about our freedom.
How do you wrap a speech like this?
And what I'm telling people, drop the politics for a minute.
That's right.
It's time that we get on the same side as Americans.
As Americans.
We need to be on the same side.
That's right.
I don't care whether you are a conservative or a liberal, a Republican or a Democrat. It's time to get on the same side, because if not, we're not going to have any freedoms.
This is like the most divisive screed, and she's saying we need to be united.
And then you have these people trying to silence our voices. Now, I don't know what the Zuck is up with Mark Zuckerberg.
Are they trying to pull them off the
But
stage?
again, he's zucking with the wrong two black women.
More identity politics. I don't know, guys. It's weird. It's almost like they're not really against identity politics if it helps them.
We have a right to think for ourselves.
That's right.
We have a right to think outside of the box.
That's right.
We can be conservative. I can be a Republican. I can stand up for what's right. And nobody, including Mark Zuckerberg, have no right to try to silence us.
That's right.
All right.
Don't let these people get away with it. They tried to brand us because of what happened on January the 6th. They tried to deem everybody as white supremacists. Diamond and Silk is two black women, and they even called
Are
us.
they admitting some of the rioters were white supremacists? Are they admitting that?
And the last I checked, I'm fully black from the crown of my head.
This has got to be satire. This can't be real.
Don't you let them do it.
Don't get it twisted.
Honey, I don't have a problem with letting these Democrats know. You the one created the white supremacy.
That's right.
You the one created the KKK.
Yes, you
You the one brought in Jim Crow. And I don't let them live it down.
No, we don't.
Now, I know the left don't too much care for Diamond and Silk, but I could care less.
That's right.
You couldn't care less. You couldn't care less.
And Frank's speech. But like in the words of a famous person, frankly, I don't give a damn.
They're really moving forward the discussion on American politics.
So upset with the way our country is going. Yeah. And I'm looking at the Republican and the Democrat Party. It looks like it's one dirty bird with two corrupt wings, and we got to get rid of the corruption.
That's right.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my God, she has more pages.
We can't move to 2022 until we solve what happened in 2020.
Come on.
And I know we was all on the Trump train, but it's sad when you have your own trying to derail the train.
That's right.
Ooh.
And that's what bothers me with all of this. Don't let them bully you into a corner. We are Americans, you all. We still stay in America.
Right.
Do we not?
You stay in America.
Where you have to act like it. These people taunt us with words. They bully us. They call us names. They demonize us. They marginalize us. And they think we're supposed to sit back and take it. We don't have to take it. We can speak out against this tyranny.
That's right.
What Biden is doing to America,
What is he doing?
destroying it.
Yes.
I don't even think the audience is actually entertained by this. And they seem to be dying out.
Talked about putting Americans first. People thriving.
Yeah.
People coming up.
Yeah.
And now look at what's happening.
Yeah.
You got people sitting around collecting welfare and they calling it stimulus. You got Biden.
Did she say Simbas, like from The Lion King? Did she say Simbas?
All of these jobs. No, Jim Crow Joe. You ain't created one job.
Not one job.
Stop giving these people money to sit down and allow them to go back to work.
What?
Back to work.
I just don't know what to say about this. This is not a presidency to me. This is a regime.
A regime. He was installed by the swamp, not elected by the people.
Come on, that's right.
He was installed.
Is Silk taking over now?
Not elected by the people.
I guess they go to Silk
No,
now?
they don't want you to talk about that. But they ran around for 4 years pushing Russia collusion.
Russia.
And the only thing I knew about Russia was that Russian dressing that I put on my corned beef sandwiches.
That's right.
Unless they want to talk about that time where I ran my pressure up from eating some pork sausage and everything on the TV looked Russian.
Diamond, we call that a Reuben, please.
Oh, you all, sometimes I have to laugh to keep from crying.
Me too.
Because this is so disappointing to me.
Yeah.
Because when you have your own throw you under the bus, that's a problem. President Trump didn't deserve any of this.
That's right.
What they're doing to him. And I want you all to understand, the media is also in on this as well.
The media? Yeah.
That includes Fox 2.
Right.
Don't get
Very anti-Fox today.
And I'm tired of these people lying to the American public. How about you come clean?
That's right.
How about you let the American people know what's really going on?
Do it.
You don't have to prance around Barack Hussein Obama. He's already been the president. He's no longer the president. Why is he still talking?
Why?
Why is Trump, by that logic, at this event?
And he had the nerves the other day to say something about this critical race theory. Oh my God, I think it's making the white people feel uncomfortable. I'm sorry, it's also making black people feel uncomfortable too. Because you all are trying to push segregation.
What?
That's what you're trying to do.
That's right. By the way,
go ahead, girl.
Isn't Barack Hussein Obama biracial?
That's right.
His
Right.
mother is white, his father is black. So do he feel like his white side is oppressing his black side?
Please list the races of more people.
And perhaps his black side is feeling like a victim because of his white side.
None of this make any sense,
No
you all.
sense.
Let me tell you all something.
Uh-huh.
We know what happened in our country.
People in the crowd taking notes. Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Why do
50%
we
white.
have to
Right.
keep focusing on what happened back in the 1800s? Why do we have to go back 100 years? If you gonna go back 100 years, how about you talk about what happened in the summer of 2020? When businesses was burned to the ground, when businesses was looted, when people's livelihoods has been taken from them.
Destroyed.
No, you can't let them get by with it. You can't let them get by with it. Let me tell you something. President Trump was the greatest president that we've ever seen in our lifetime.
Man. Can we get maybe a contest going on Twitch about how much longer this will go? People want to bet. Maybe a moderator can set it up. I mean, just this one speech.
Everything. Trump. Yeah.
And people keep asking us.
People smartly covering themselves from the sun now. If you're out for 4 hours in the sun during this stuff, you will be burned to a crisp.
What we seeing in our country right now is unprecedented. We've never had anything like this to happen before.
That's true.
And what I keep telling people is to pray. Do you all still believe in the power of prayer?
Right. Now, what about just praying for Trump to have won before? Wouldn't that have been smarter?
See, if you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, you can talk to that mountain, that mountain
Did she say a grain of mustard seed?
will be moved.
Was that the analogy, a grain of mustard seed?
We don't know what's going to happen. But you have to let things unfold.
Let it unfold.
So first we're starting with these forensic audits. And here's my theory.
What's your theory?
Why don't you audit the whole election? The whole, every state.
That's right.
Do that.
Do the whole thing.
Well, but Diamond.
Come on.
I have a question for you.
Okay, what is it?
I noticed how the Democrats is trying to interfere in the certification of the audit.
What? The election's been over for 7 months.
Insurrection when you try to block the certification. So my question is, if they're trying to interfere in the audits in Arizona, for example, does that make them an insurrection because they're trying to stop the verification of the certification of Jim Crow Joe?
Let me think about that. That's a tough question.
Good way of looking at it.
What are they trying to hide?
What does it mean to certify an audit, by the way?
What they trying to hide, but it look like somebody gonna get caught real soon.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. If the Jewish space lasers exist, they should be used to destroy the audio equipment right now at this event.
No, don't run there.
And I know it didn't pick up no ballots from the graveyard.
No.
And the graveyard don't have internet services.
No.
So I wonder how many dead people voted in
None.
this election.
You got to be cautious.
Dead people can't vote.
That's why I said I wonder. It's my opinion. I just wonder.
Because they will fact check you and we at a rally.
Uh-oh.
They'll fact check you and say that's wrong. You shouldn't say no stuff like that.
But it's my opinion. And why can't I have an opinion about these dead votes coming in the 2020 election, allegedly? It's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, listen, we know the dead in Christ rose, but the dead in Christ didn't rise for Biden.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't do that.
No, it didn't.
No, I won't believe
it.
It
didn't do that.
Are they winding down?
See, Silk, that's why they don't like us. Because we try to think logically about the whole thing.
That's right.
We don't just sit back and accept anything.
If we can stand to miss 30 seconds of this, I do want to say thank you to people who have been supporting the stream. Daniel Larson, as well as Lurdon and Wickedness, as well as Hack Fooey, Toolman Tim, Bigfoot Tornado, Too Hot Nelly, and Dollar Batteries all signed up, putting us at 65. Also, I do want to thank everybody taking advantage of the one-day coupon code MyPillow50. Karen Colvin just signed up on my website using the code MyPillow50. John Eilingworth signed up. Melinda Pegg, Raquel Vasquez, and David McDonald, all taking advantage of the coupon code MyPillow50, a celebration of a true horror taking place right now.
Listen, if we don't get this together,
That's right.
all of us are going to be slaves. I don't care whether you black, white, pinstripe, polka dot, or plaid.
That's
We
right.
all gonna be slaves fooling around up here.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
These people are trying to bankrupt this country.
Yes, they are.
They're giving out all of this money, you all, and we don't have nothing to bag it up.
Do you think they get paid by the minute, maybe?
See, I can see if we had a pot of money somewhere. But ain't no pot. So what you just doing? Printing money like it's monopoly money? And giving it away?
Just giving it away.
Food costs is going up. I got to tell the story.
Go ahead on and tell it.
I love mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes up under Trump cost me $8.
I love mangoes too.
99 cents.
Okay.
Now that we are up under a Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11? That sounds good.
And the American people blind. It's highway robbery is what you're doing.
That's right.
Bring my mangoes back down.
That's right. Right about that.
The Wisconsin crowd not identifying with the mango material.
Disproportionately affected. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't you want me to be healthy?
Don't you?
Now that ticked me off when I went to the grocery store the other day. And I said, somebody's got to be sued for this.
Do they know kiwi pricing? I would love to know. What are kiwis costing these days?
Fooling around with these people. Yeah. And what they've done is politicized this pandemic and got everybody just in a hoopla.
That's right.
Don't know whether they coming or going. Take the jab. Don't take the jab. Wear the mask. Don't wear the mask. If you didn't get a vaccine, you sit over here. If you got your vaccine, you sit over there.
That's segregation.
These people are trying to bring back segregation. These people are trying to go back to the 60s.
Oh, man.
These people are trying to bring back Jim Crow days.
Yeah, do they want socialist price controls? Good question.
We have to stand up.
We gotta stand up.
The government's got to set prices on vegetables and fruits, guys.
America.
Determine the price of mangoes. Set the price of mangoes.
This is America. This ain't no third world country. Somebody go let Alahan Omar know.
Alahan. I love that. Alahan. This is batshit crazy. Yeah.
You assimilate to our ways.
They're just repeating the speech again, it seems
And I
like.
got one more thing. Beef. They're going to have to get their hands off our babies.
Address strawberries, though.
Teaching them inappropriate, nasty foolishness at 6 years old. Take your hands off of our children.
You should hear their rant about dragon fruit if you think the mango stuff was wild.
And take these masks off of our children.
There is a foul spirit that has creeped into the United States.
They found a seed in a seedless grape recently, and they want Joe Biden to do something about it.
Appropriately talk to our children about masturbation and all of this other foolishness. You are a foul spirit. Take your hands off of our children.
They also believe canned vegetables are a scam
Should be standing up
compared to frozen.
babies. They don't know no better. You nasty. Where the pastors?
That's right.
Where the preachers at?
Where you at?
Why ain't nobody standing up for our babies?
They're all standing up. They don't know why, but they're standing up.
You're grooming our children for your own pleasure. Take your damn hands off of our children.
Ban masturbation, but set prices on mango.
Now, if you don't want to get me upset, don't mess with the baby. Yeah.
Are people cheering for masturbation or for banning it? I can't tell.
I am so tired of this progressive, left-leaning, liberal radicalism. Can't keep your hands off our children.
That's right.
Listen, you all. It's not only an attack on our freedoms, but they want to get our babies.
Yeah.
As young as they can get them.
Yeah.
Because they know the adults ain't going along with their nasty, sick, sinister foolishness. We can't allow these people to take the minds of our babies. And corrupt them. And to make them into something that they're not.
Why won't they stop?
Don't let anybody take away their innocence.
That's right.
When you hear them talking about this critical race theory and all of these books, they want to start them young, knowing about stuff that I don't think that they should know about is inappropriate. You need to let them know, take your hands off of our babies. Take them off our children.
That's right.
Oh, there's a foul spirit. You can't tell me 81 million people voted for this foolishness. It's a lie and the truth ain't in it.
That's right.
So I had to get that off my chest. Don't mess with our babies. Don't mess with our elderly. And this is another one.
Come on.
Let me tell you something.
Tell it.
Can't say it no more. Kumo.
Kumo.
Right down there in New York.
Oh my God. I thought this was going in a different direction for a second.
Humanity.
He don't deserve a book deal. He deserve a prison cell.
With no deal.
You don't take and you don't place COVID-19 patients in with our elderly and kill them up.
That's right.
Because that's what you did.
Kill them
That's what it is.
That's right.
up.
Crimes against humanity. And he needs to be jailed for that, not praised for it.
That's right.
Listen, I'm glad you called out the governors. Any one of them that push these draconian measures with their feet on people's necks, making them stay locked down, taking their business.
You know, feet on neck evokes a memory of something that happened, which they didn't seem to care about.
I love you all.
Right.
You want to be free? You want to remain free?
Man, free the crowd of the speech. Come on, end it.
For freedom!
Please free the crowd from the bondage of this speech.
Now, I know that they tried to derail the Trump train. But I'm going to say it like this. Are we all on the Trump train?
Yeah.
I said, are we all on the Trump train? When I say all aboard, you say choo-choo. All aboard. All aboard.
Is this their rap? Ooh, overexposed.
Bless you and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
We love you.
God bless the United States. Wow. And after all of this, it is finally over. An absolutely brutal assault on everything that is kind and decent.
One more hand, will you?
Wow.
Diamond and Silk. All right, our next speaker here today is Chris Cox. Let me tell you about him. 2013, the government got shut down.
Right. Okay, while he does this, I do want to make sure I'm keeping up with thanking. There's a lot of great people supporting the stream, and I appreciate it. Thanks to AM 615, as well as Jilted Passion and Lorimer. Deeper Shades of House, great to see you. As well as a gift and a sub from Naya Masters. That's 6, Space Robot 4000. has signed up. That is 7, putting us at 77. And really exciting, the coupon code MyPillow, which is a meme code, is off the charts. James Regal has just signed up at joinpacman.com. Matthew Michael has just signed up. Trish Brazil just signed up with the coupon code MikePillow50. And Jason Willoughby just signed up with the coupon code MikePillow50. That's a today-only code, okay? Joinpacman.com. Coupon code MikePillow50 saves you a lot. The super chats, I can't even keep up, but some of them were having me laughing out loud in my mind. Sunil says, sounds very QAnon-y. A soccer player just died on the field. Ooh, that's not good news. Okay, we'll get to that later. Terrible speech didn't even address banana prices. I know. It's like I want to know, why are all fruits the price that they are? Why is kiwi down? Why are bananas up? I don't know. All right, let's continue. What is this guy wearing and how tall is he? Who is this guy?
It's a jumped out joint off a back road.
Why is his waist so low?
Thank you. So Chris Cox, I'm the founder of Bikers for Trump, and we exist for the sole purpose of seeing Donald Trump president.
Bikers
for Trump. We've had our work cut out for us here lately. There's been an assault on decency. The left is coming after your Bibles, your bullets, and your babies. And if you don't stand up and make a difference now, it's going to be too late soon.
He should do a conversation with Ron Perlman.
Everybody out there right now, you are political activists for the fact that you're here today. You're not home watching on TV. You're making a difference.
Well, it's not on TV.
And that's what it's about. It's about standing up. Even when no one else does, you stand up.
You don't even know why you stand up.
You know.
But you do.
It wasn't that long ago. What made this country so great for we the people were the institutions that we put our trust in. The institutions that have consistently let us down here lately. You know, we think about the FBI for one. Okay? Right. The FBI and their misguided collusion investigation.
Yeah, this is low-rent Ron Perlman from Sons of Anarchy.
When did the FBI lose sight? When did they start protecting us instead of setting us up?
I might tweet that, actually. I like that. Let me see.
Giuliani's house being invaded under the dark of night, okay? Meanwhile, we've had Antifa and Black Lives Matter burning down cities across the country. It's pathetic, and we've got to make a difference here. We look at the CDC under Fauci, with this pandemic, if you will, and how it sabotaged our last election, okay? There's no way that Joe Biden got 80 million votes, folks. No way. Donald Trump could he could be getting gas at a gas station, have more people show up and want to shake his hand.
Oh my God. Look at the Trump thing there on the stick.
We look at the fake news. When did it get so polluted? When did they start pushing their own narrative there, perpetuating it and trying to brainwash America? When did they stop reporting on the facts, the who, the when, and the where? And how are they surviving? You look at CNN has crashed. By the way, CNN, did you see what last year where they reported that I was dating both Diamond and Silk? I mean, come on. They have no clue. You're exactly right. You know, this voting system here and the shenanigans that are going on, God bless the hard work in Maricopa County, huh? Let's hear it for those guys. Unbelievable what's happening. And from there, I'm hoping they come here to Wisconsin or they go into Georgia. You know, we think about some of the work that the Bikers for Trump have done, and we've led the country in voter registration. Our bikers have apps on their phone.
These are the top biker voter registration people.
And it'll check your registration. And if you have any problems, we can fix it on the spot. We can register you on the spot. Or if it's a state that doesn't provide online registration, we can have that information sent to your doorstep.
Maybe states should just provide online registration, which they're against.
You know, another one of the accomplishments of the Bikers for Trump, there's a demographic that was untapped. It was almost impossible to get to. It took me 4 years to get in there with them. When I first got there, they thought I was a blowhard, but when I wouldn't leave, they started taking me serious. It's the Amish. The Amish who have traditionally never voted, who are told not to vote. But see, the Amish were never affected by these recessions. And when Donald Trump got in office, they had more 18-wheelers going out of Ohio and Pennsylvania than ever before.
It's the top biker app for registering Amish voters of all apps.
The toughest and the rowdiest demographic of all the bikers were the ones able to harness the Amish, the most religious and docile.
Docile? What the hell?
We were doing the math
docile?
Yesterday.
What are they, animals?
One county, Holmes
They've
County,
domesticated
Ohio.
the Amish.
A lot of people think the most Amish are in Pennsylvania. That's not true. They're in Ohio. That's why it started there. Wayne and Holmes County, 74,000 just in those two counties. So in Holmes County, with the work that the Bikers for Trump did, we added an extra 7,500 votes in just that one county, okay, for Donald Trump.
Not only did they get the Amish to vote, they got them to clean up after themselves. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
There are lots of counties across this country that are inundated and covered with Amish. So that's
it's just littered with Amish everywhere.
Figure that we added between 2
it's like an infestation of Amish, this guy would have you believe.
Amish votes. Did anybody remember on the news when in Philadelphia where they dropped an extra 200,000 or 300,000 votes there in the middle of the night, like 4 o'clock in the morning?
Is that true? The entire Amish population is 270K?
Wisdom is there. They didn't predict that the Amish would turn out like they did, and they had to cover their butts, and those machines were smoking, printing out those ballots.
Yeah, that's true. The total Amish population is 270. Many of those are kids.
Are not a security force. But
oh my God.
The bikers also won't back down.
The Amish.
They'll stand right up. Now, while I'm saying, and I'm on this topic, if there's any Black Lives Matter, or any Antifa, you spin your first damn bullet in my chest, okay? Because we're not scared of you, and there'll be plenty of patriots to step up and take my place. I guarantee it.
Wow. Wow.
So when they started to try to impeach Donald Trump there in that last little misguided... that
escalated quickly, yeah.
We started the Draft Donald Trump 2024 campaign.
Yeah, who turned down this event?
I'd like to see him here in 2021. But we've got over 200,000 signatures, I believe, at this point. If anybody would like to sign it, bikersfortrump.com. You can sign that petition very easily. It's the only thing on that page. And we'll be presenting these signatures to the President, Donald Trump, very soon.
The President, Donald Trump.
You know, when we look at these elections...
You have to clarify.
I'm from the great state of South Carolina, and we have 6 of our 7 congressional members are Republican, our governor's Republican, and our 2 senators are Republican.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean we don't have problems.
Right. No, in
Tom
fact,
Rice
it's
there
because
in
of
the
it.
Beach area who voted for impeachment. Okay? I'll be heading back to South Carolina to throw a rally in Myrtle Beach with the bikers, and we're gonna serve fried rice, because that's what we expect to do to Tom Rice. We're gonna fry him.
I'm actually really good at making fried rice. I've got a great recipe.
Got another female representative that went on.
The one thing I've tested with, the thing that's tough with fried rice is, I found that if the toasted sesame oil is a key thing with fried rice. I used to do sesame oil and butter. The butter flavors it too much, and it takes away from the sesame oil. So now I do a mix of sesame and a neutral oil like canola. Has dramatically scaled up my fried rice.
In these elections across the country is special interest groups. Groups like Club for Growth Action and Prosperity for America. Prosperity for America is run by the Koch brothers. They give money to Democrats and Republicans.
So the toasted sesame oil is the key. Absolutely.
So when they get on board and say that they get behind
day-old rice, no doubt.
30 or 40 candidates with a couple $1 million each, okay?
I'm with you.
Say
I'm with you.
Only 15 of them win. Now we've got the Club for Growth, Prosperity for America, which are tied to the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers are calling policy shots now in the House of Representatives.
Right.
Okay? They are deep embedded into the fabric of our political system. And we've got to get rid of those guys if we're going to clean the swamp. And we hear the president talk about cleaning the swamp. But until we get rid of that Washington money polluting these these congressional and these Senate races, we're not going to be able to do it. Because when they give these millions of dollars, then they've got their hooks in these freshman candidates, and then, boom, they're calling shots because they owe favors. We should not be allowed to give candidates money until after a primary, okay? That money pollutes elections. That money prevents other candidates that may be qualified from having their messages get out there. Well, better late than never.
That was like a single propeller plane, wasn't it? That's not a flyover.
So that's what we got to do, folks. When you're watching these candidates here in the state, and if you're in your prospective state, look and see who's giving them money. You may like them, but then you see the Prosperity for America, Club for Growth giving them money. That's the Koch brothers that be pulling their strings. So
Koch brothers are bad now, I guess, right?
You've got to be informed. We can't rely on mainstream media. They would rather our country crash than prosper because of their narrative, because they're so warped. They're snowflakes and rainbows and cupcakes, and they just don't get it.
All right.
So I haven't really ever been introduced people talking about that 2013 event. So I'm in a nutshell. So the government shut down in 2013 under Barack Obama, which I was offered later. They wanted to put one of those little yellow ribbons on my neck for the work I did, and I didn't want Obama touching me after he just had his hands around Michelle.
Okay.
So I turned it down. It might have helped me last year in my congressional race if I'd have had that from a Democrat, but I'd rather not had it, and they knew it, and I made it very clear. Because you see, folks, again, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Nice line.
And to me, the bikers for Trump, it's about open channel of communication.
Is it possible this guy's racist? Like, maybe?
Your job's to bring people to the Lord, okay? Well, the preacher does not measure his life at the end of each sermon. He measures it at the end of his life, right? How many people did I lead to God over my life? How many people can you lead to the conservative movement over your life? And the way we do it is through our example. It's through that open channel of communication. It's where people can look and say, what makes you tick? Why do you believe the way that you believe? And then you can back it up with fact. The fact that matches with the example that you set. And that's what people will pay attention to. Because most of Americans they're not informed.
Yeah, that's true.
They need to be informed. When we think about this election and how we go to bed and Donald Trump's up by millions of votes, and then we wake up and we're all just bewildered.
Wow.
Okay? That's a hard one to swallow. But yet, mainstream media and the Democrats mitigate this political climate through innuendo, allegation, circumstance, a friend who heard it from a friend. They read things on bathroom walls and then they call for investigation.
That's Democrats who do that?
Don't you think that we deserve some answers what happened on November 6th? We certainly do. So I was telling you, so the government shut down. And I was in Washington, D.C. I'm an artist. I'm a chainsaw artist. I was there on an art show. And so I knew there was nobody out there.
Oh,
so
man.
I filled my backpack up. I had a football, frisbee, my beach cruiser. I thought I was going to see a bunch of patriots out there. And when I got out there, I was the only one. It's hard to throw the frisbee to yourself. So I was just patrolling the grounds, making sure nobody spray painted, because it was only like a year before a Chinese woman had spray painted or threw some green paint on Lincoln.
Oh, a Chinese woman. Oh, okay.
Somebody wrote the N-word in red paint on the front of the Lincoln Memorial. Years before that, someone went in and poisoned a bunch of the trees there, the cherry blossoms. And so I thought my job was just going to be to have my cell phone, make sure that nobody was going to vandalize it.
Right.
And then on the third morning, I'm walking back to my car, and when I got to the trash can that leads into the wall there,
someone had put a recyclable item in the trash can. It was horrible.
My step-uncle's on there, and I'm sure many of your relatives are on there. The trash can had overflowed, and there was like 2 trash cans beside it. And I'm talking about spit cups and diapers and and rotten tomatoes, and oranges and apples, and it was nasty. So
mangoes?
I didn't do anything. Halfway home, I was staying in Occoquan. Halfway, I felt ashamed. I went to Walmart, got a bunch of trash bags, bought a dolly. I went back, and that's when I became, instead of security, I became the janitor. And it wasn't 700 trash cans a day, but it was about 700 total. So I would just remove it from the property because we had media from around the world taking pictures.
Is it interesting to talk about how trash is dealt with at a park?
About a block away, I had a big mountain of trash. And then the Bedouins were coming in.
Bedouins?
A week or 10 days later, so I guess about 13 days into it.
Did he say Bedouins?
I got a lawnmower out there, a little push mower. I got
like Israeli Bedouins were there?
Memorial, which is a pretty big field, and they came and they wanted to. They took it from me, and they were going to write me a ticket, this, that, and the other. But by then, someone had went by and they.
Oh, veterans, veterans,
tweeted
veterans.
around the world in like 45 seconds, and it's quite an experience. So I stuck around when it was done, and I petitioned Congress and explained to them that we should not allow these memorials to just go wayward if the government shuts down. So I devised a plan that would allow veterans to come up and take care of it, a plan that would allow the Boy Scouts of America to
Is this
take care
basically
of our
about
national
trash
parks.
management? Like, what are we talking about here?
We call it the Memorial Militia.
What on
I was
earth?
later able to convince Congressman Darrell Issa to help me with the framework of the bill. And we named it the Monuments Protection Act. I had it introduced with bipartisan support as a citizen legislator. The bill reads that the Secretary of Agriculture and the Secretary of Interior will enter into agreement with
Bikers against trash bags, or for them, I don't know.
continued operation of an open-air war memorial, public lands, or parks during a last appropriations or for any other reason. And I was really proud of that.
Listen, if the militias wanted to do trash rather than walk around with guns, I'm all for it. If they're willing to replace the guns with trash bags, we should cheer that.
Communities in Washington, D.C., and South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia as a result of that. And when Donald Trump started running, he said two things that got my attention. The first thing he said was radical Islam. And I'm like,
Right.
hell yeah, we don't hear politicians saying those words, do we?
I was like, hell yeah.
Then he said something like putting America first. And then I knew right then that was a man for the job. See, we didn't
Hell yeah,
elect
brother.
a politician. We elected a businessman with the work ethics of a farmer, and he did one hell of a job.
Who do you think this guy is most racist against?
He's a fine and he's a decent man with a decent family, and he worked for
Like, for whatever reason, I think deep down he may hate Jews the most.
and he cares about each
I don't know
and
why
every
I get that
person that's
feeling.
on the other side as well. He was often criticized for trying to give us an equitable balance with these countries across the world, and the media would chew them up and spit them out. Now they remain silent as Biden bumbles around the White House and can't form sentences and slips and falls. If Donald Trump almost slipped one day, and it was mainstream with story of the day, we had Joe Biden fall 3 times going up the same set of stairs, and we didn't hear a word about it, did we?
What?
That shows you, folks, that we have got an assault on decency. It's led by the mainstream media, and we've got to start pushing back. So let me give you a couple examples how you can push back.
Please.
Say you live in an area like me in South Carolina. We've got one of the most liberal papers in the country there, the Low Country, the Post and Partisan. Okay? So what we've devised is we're going to start finding out who's advertising in these papers, because these papers have to pay their bills.
Weren't they against this strategy when people did it to Fox News?
Do you really stand for this ideology? Do you stand for them perpetuating this Democrat narrative?
This is what they opposed when people did it to Tucker.
If not, stop advertising there.
Cancel
Because
culture,
it leads
wow.
us patriots to believe that you condone this behavior. We got to hit them where it counts. We got
The crowd's confused because they were like, Tucker was telling me this is bad, you know?
What can they do to us that they haven't already done and already going to continue to do? They don't like us. They don't like us because we embrace the Constitution, the greatest document in the world, the Bill of Rights.
Documents.
You know, there's a lot of us out there that haven't had an opportunity to serve our country. But right now, folks, you have an opportunity to serve your country.
Right.
To serve your country by standing up to the radical left and to demand the answers to these questions that we have.
What questions?
Why can't we find these ballots? You know, when you vote, you own that vote for 22 months. We own those votes that they're trying to keep us from. What, they showed up in Arizona with 100 attorneys? Who shows up with 100 attorneys if they have nothing to hide? Go figure.
Any day Trump's going to be reinstated, guys, right?
You know, the bedrock of this country is fortifying your household, giving your family a better opportunity.
What?
It's for the men and women who go to work every day.
Fortifying your
so
household.
They can give their family that opportunity. That's the new Republican Party, and that's the party of Donald J. Trump. And we've got to encourage him. Whether or not Donald Trump runs again, or and if he's not reinstated, which we all hope he is, and if he's not, it's a travesty.
There it is.
He'll certainly be helping us decide who does.
There it is.
You know, when we look across the country,
reinstated,
we see the liberal leadership that's calling the shots. You can look at, without even knowing it's a Republican or a Democrat governor there, you can tell who it is. Look at Ron DeSantis and the work that he's done in Florida. Let's hear from Ron DeSantis, folks. He says, the hell with those masks. Open those schools. Open those restaurants. You know, we think about the Democrats, and they're there for the lower income, right? So they're not going to raise taxes. But you know how they raise the taxes on the lower income? Look at the price of petroleum now for gas.
Yep. Started under Trump, demand-based,
lower income family, and
economic recovery.
50 to 60 miles a day between the
so
two
lame.
of you. At the end of the year, you've spent over an extra $2,000. Okay. So these Democrat policies under Biden are trickling down to the same people that voted for him. So we got to wake them up. We got to explain to them in common sense things that are hitting their pockets. We got to talk to them about their pocketbooks. That's what's.
Is he suggesting price controls on gas?
They do want to give their family a better opportunity and a better life. They're just confused. So we got to share with them the facts that are going on. Going through Minnesota the other day, I paid $1, I think, $3.29 in gas and diesel. I was paying $1.69 last year and a half ago. Okay?
Because nobody was driving anywhere, dude. People were trying to get rid of oil as quickly as they could.
We're in the breadbasket of America right now. Okay? When these farmers get hit, you're going to start feeling it in your milk, and your eggs, and your bread, and your cereal.
I felt Trump in my cereal this morning. I admit that. That's true.
Folks. It's all going up. We look at the assault on these infrastructures that are coming in, and now the meat is shut down, or they're having a hard time with the meat. Remember, they shut the pipeline down.
Biden wants to spend on infrastructure.
They're practicing, folks. They're practicing for when they try to sink us. And we need answers. And you need to start saving your money and stacking it away, because I'm not so sure the bank's the best place to put it.
Here we go.
You need to start saving, folks.
Yeah, this is like a sovereign citizen type.
Ahead of us. We need Donald Trump back in office. You know, when you're out there and you're looking for your news.
I was kidding, by the way. I don't eat cereal. People are worried I don't eat cereal. Other than my occasional magic spoon.
In such a way that just anybody can understand them. And it's music to my ears when I see them. And I try to get my friends to listen to them all the time because they're very informed.
I'm investing in pastrami.
A lot of good things have been able to happen to me as being starting Bikers for Trump. I've been in a position to take my mother to 4 White House Christmas parties as my date. So that was quite a thing. I lost a couple girlfriends along the way when I chose to take my mom.
Okay.
But it's okay, because you know, the one thing that never changes, that's mama and your love for mom. And speaking of mom, our patriot over here, Mike Lindell, he came to my hometown in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina on Mother's Day, and we had a rally, and he blew the doors off of it. They told me we could never pull anybody on Sunday on Mother's Day. Well, nobody ever tried to throw a rally with Mike Lindell either on Mother's Day.
Right.
this little area. He put over 800 people in there, and it was amazing. And the man stuck around and shook everybody's hand, and he's just very personable. We just can't say enough about Mike Lindell, and I'm hoping we got some Mike Lindells out there in that crowd. And, you know, he's going to get mad at me when I get off because, you know, he likes to keep his message on point, but you know, I've been able to draw a source of inspiration. If you look over here next to our booth, he's got a booth. He's got a book over there that talks about his life.
Right.
And as I read the book, I'm reading it for the second time because I had earmarked.
It's just so good.
Go back and read again.
It's just chock full of good
He
advice.
puts it out there, and you know, when you measure a man or a woman, I think that one of the best measurements is humility and having none. Okay. Having the humility to just to tell it like it is. He talks in his book about how the drug dealers had an intervention. Okay, what drug dealers do that? I'll tell you, drug dealers that saw so much potential in a person that they couldn't stand it anymore.
Right. The drug dealers weren't willing to sell Mike Lindell drugs because he was going to do too much good if he could get off the drugs.
Lindell to the patriot that he is today.
That's amazing.
And he's a source for inspiration for a lot of people, including me. And he spends his own money on it.
Mike, stop buying drugs from me.
He doesn't raise money, he spends his own money.
You've got too much potential.
And that says a lot about people because everybody's got a special relationship with the money in their bill folder. The money in his bill folder is like orphan. He spends it. He puts it out there. He helps people.
It's like chlorophyll, he said?
Couldn't have been more proud to have him there at my old campaign headquarters. He's just quite a guy. You know, now we look at that assault on decency I was talking about with fake book, you know.
Did he say assault on the EFIS pitch?
Thousands of, I think we're around.
What the hell is this guy talking about?
A million. They shadow ban us. They take us off. But Mike Lindell has given us a new voice, a new way to reach people. And we need to get on this frank speech, and we need to make that the #1 platform in the country.
There's nothing on it. You can't access the damn thing on it.
One of my favorite things is, you know what one of the only rules is? You can't take the Lord's name in vain.
Right.
How about that? And
I'm just going to briefly mute this because I do want to make sure everybody's getting a thank you who's been supporting the stream. Thanks to Suicide Kings for the Twitch sub. I very much appreciate that. You're number 82 today. Also, thank you to Ali Sorensen, who just signed up at joinpacman.com, new member number 83. We have a one-day coupon code. It's MyPillow50. MyPillow50. Check this out. He's throwing T-shirts. Low rent Ron Perlman throwing merch into the crowd. Do something good with this.
Thank you, Chris. Chris Cox, thank you.
Use the coupon code MyPillow50 on my website. All right, there goes Chris Cox.
All right, our next speaker. Well, he made national news as the sheriff of Milwaukee County.
Oh, God. Clark is unhinged. I'm going to step away during Clark and take a little break. It'll continue, then I'll be back.
Publicly for everybody to hear. And it went
thanks to Green Man as well. Green Man, thank you.
He said, as the sheriff of Milwaukee County, he said, you know what, folks? Law-abiding folks better have a gun. Because we may not get there in time. So he said, you need to have a gun.
This is going to be really bad.
And defended your Second Amendment right.
Weaponized.
He was the sheriff of Milwaukee County from 2002 to 2017.
This guy's horrible.
And in 2013, the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association named him Sheriff of the Year.
Right. Of all sheriffs.
Join me in welcoming Sheriff David Clark.
Is this guy 7 feet tall also? Oh my God, I think he is. Oh man. Oh man.
It's a jump that joint off a back road. I'm blinking when the sign with an A.
Good afternoon, everybody.
All right, I'll be back, guys.
I love you back. I love you back. I'm going to start the way I always do when I address a crowd. First of all, I want to give a shout out to our military veterans
and our law enforcement officers all across America. Give them a big hand. It's also important for me to point out, as you well know, Blue Lives Matter in America. You know, after over a year of going through a pandemic that we are now learning was an overreaction to an overhyped flu virus, government has decided to take their boot off our necks and let us get up off the floor. Folks, if we're going to save America, it has to happen at the state level. Washington, D.C. is irreparably broken. Now that we're able to stand upright, we have to make a vow to never again let a few unelected bureaucrats aided by some progressive politicians looking to screw us. We have to vow never again to let these scoundrels dupe us into believing that civilization was going to end if we didn't do something immediately. Those bastards. We allow Democrats and their lapdogs in the media to weaponize the Chinese coronavirus and use fear to shut down our roaring economy, close businesses, put people out of work. Government placed us under house arrest without due process and seized power away from the people, not allowed by the United States Constitution. Now let's examine what they did to us, without our consent, by the way. First, they told us to close our schools and businesses for 2 weeks so we could flatten the curve. Flatten the curve, they said, and told us to separate from each other and stay in our homes. Then they told us to wear a face diaper to prevent the spread, and that was after one Tony the Fraud Fauci. Tony the Fraud Fauci went on 60 Minutes TV news show and said there was no need for everybody to go out and buy and wear face coverings, and that he wasn't worried about the spread of COVID in the United States. Some states even set up hotlines to report people inside their homes who may have had friends or relatives over to celebrate Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. In fact, they told us we couldn't travel at all. They closed churches and synagogues, canceled Easter, the holiest day in the Christian calendar, but they didn't order that mosques be closed. The city of Chicago even set up roadblocks, highway roadblocks, to prevent people from Wisconsin from driving into the city of Chicago. All of this was done without our consent, and it exceeded government authority under the Constitution of the United States. Then after that, it became about testing. We were told we need mass testing before we could resume our way of life and get our God-given rights back. So we tested, and the number of positive tests and deaths were corrupted for Democrat agenda purposes. Follow the science, we were told, even though there were competing opinions by doctors and scientists on the best remedies. Tony the Fraud Fauci became the self-anointed expert on COVID. Fauci bamboozled politicians with his BS. The American people were hoodwinked. You were lied to by an unelected, over-credentialed bureaucrat. Fauci the fraud called any doctor or epidemiologist who had an opinion that challenged his, he called them a distraction. Some of those were doctors who treat patients. I should remind you that Fauci the fraud does not treat patients. But it wasn't over. Then we were told we had to wait for a vaccine before we could resume our normal way of life. Then when a vaccine was produced, we were told that even if vaccinated, we had to continue to wear a face diaper and socially distance for the foreseeable future. Then talk began about forcing people to get injected with an experimental vaccine by using a vaccine passport scheme. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Center for Disease Control changed course and said there was no need to wear a face diaper or socially distance if vaccinated. By the way, the CDC has one main mission: to prevent the spread of infectious diseases, and they failed us miserably. The CDC knew of the existence of this novel virus when it appeared in Europe, and they indicated it was nothing to worry about. So what changed from Fauci the fraud saying nothing to worry about to forcing people to get a vaccine? Ladies and gentlemen, you know the science didn't change, the politics changed. Fauci the fraud was consumed by all the attention as he took on celebrity status. Every national news cable station wanted him on. We let this goof drive public policy. We let Fauci drive economic policy and public health policy. People delayed medical screenings over what Fauci said. Mental health problems spiked all across the United States with what this idiot Fauci was telling us. As you know, this whole coronavirus scare became the infrastructure for our 2020 election to be manipulated with mass mail-in voting that allowed Democrats to cheat their way to a win in the presidential election. I don't have to tell you that election was flat out stolen. President Trump was right. I know it, you know it, and the Democrats know it. That election was stolen. So let's fast forward to now. These three things will be on people's minds entering the 2022 midterm election. Number one is election integrity. Number two is law and order, and number three is border enforcement. And we conservatives are on the right side of every one of these issues. I wish I could say the same thing about all Republicans, but sadly, they are not always right on these three issues. Let me start with some observations on election integrity. We Americans need to be guaranteed that we have free and honest elections. Polling shows that Americans have no faith that we have fair and honest elections. We Americans need to have more transparency in the voting process, and that includes poll watchers with adequate access to see what is going on, And this one is the one I think is most important. We Americans must never give up our right to scrutinize election results. Let me stop there for a minute and talk about what's going on in Arizona. That is a good thing. I don't care how much or how bad the Democrats criticize us for scrutinizing election results. It needs to be done. It needs to be done in Wisconsin. It needs to be done in Michigan. It needs to be done in Pennsylvania and every other state where there were election irregularities overnight, right before your very eyes. Now on the topic of law and order, our police continue to be under attack from cop-hating movements like Black Lives Matter, two-bit politicians looking to score a few cheap political points, and politically active district attorneys whose campaigns were financed by one George Soros. Defunding, abolishing, and reforming police are not serious public policy proposals. It is flat out buffoonery. It is an attack on civil life, the rule of law, law and order. It has contributed to an explosion of crime in urban cities. People mainly black people, are shot and murdered in eye-popping numbers. Democrats and Black Lives Matter could care less, as children murdered in Chicago is up 300% in 2021. This continual knee-jerk response to every police use of force is asinine. We don't need police reform in America. We need ghetto reform in America. This current police reform bill moving through Congress is an anti-police bill, and no Republican lawmaker at the state or national level should attach their name to this bill or be in favor of it. In Congress, it has been named the George Floyd Police Reform Act. Now, I don't know about you, but I am tired of hearing about George Floyd. The sooner we put George Floyd in our collective rearview mirrors, the better off America will be. Everything that has been associated with George Floyd has led to riots, looting, deaths, injured police officers, destroyed businesses. George Floyd should not be used as a marker for anything in the United States. This police reform bill, or anti-police bill as I call it, removes qualified immunity that protects law enforcement officers from being sued personally for actions that were made on the job in good faith. I have a suggestion. This bill should remove qualified immunity for judges, prosecutors, and all members of Congress who enjoy it. Why don't we remove it for everybody then? Then let's see how much support in Congress there is for this piece of crap bill. This anti-police bill takes away certain defensive tactics that, when applied properly, keeps officers safe. A no-knock search warrant has to be approved by a judge to begin with. It has judicial scrutiny before it's served. It must be explained to the judge why it needs to be used. There may be weapons in the home to be searched that might be used against officers as they enter. Also, evidence can be disposed of before officers breach the property. None of these things are going to reform policing. In fact, it will make policing harder to do. I was asked in a Newsmax TV interview what I could suggest to make the George Floyd Police Reform Act better, and I said, put it in the shredder. As I said, we do not need police reform in the United States. We need ghetto reform. The police are not the problem. Crime is the problem. The criminals are the problem. Your community's finest are under tremendous strain. They need more funding, not less. They need more resources, not fewer. They are understaffed, and it is taking a toll on their mental health as police suicides have reached record numbers across the United States. This profession has higher rates of suicide than any other profession. Where is the empathy for our law enforcement officers? Here's the ugly truth. George Floyd would be alive today if he had complied with the lawful commands to take him into custody. Officers tried to place him in the rear of the police cruiser and he would not go in. That move right there would have saved him. Instead, he resisted arrest. He was geeked up on fatal levels of fentanyl at the time of his death. The police were called because he was trying to pass a $20 counterfeit bill to buy more drugs. I refuse to elevate a guy who once held a loaded firearm to the stomach of a pregnant woman and threatened to shoot her in a home invasion robbery. I refuse to make this guy an icon in the march for civil rights in America. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a national disgrace. It's a disgrace to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's a disgrace to Rosa Parks. It's a disgrace to Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, and others. They weren't criminals. Now I want to touch on border security. There are three main reasons why a country has to have effective border control. If you're going to be a country, you have to have borders and you have to be willing to protect those borders. Here's the first reason why you need effective border control. You have domestic threats and national security threats. You saw that MS-13 was freely coming across our southern border. You saw that terrorists were freely coming across our southern border. The second reason you have to have effective border control is to prevent the spread of infectious disease. I cannot believe that the Biden administration, you notice I didn't say president, the Biden administration opened the southern border with no concern for COVID. None. Zero. How can you do that during a pandemic? Because they just don't care. The third reason you need effective border control is you have to control the influx, the heavy influx of another country's ne'er-do-wells. You have people coming into this country, there's a language barrier, they don't speak the language, they're not educated, they don't have job skills that they can offer to an employer. Our system, our economy cannot handle that. Our schools cannot handle that. All of these schools don't have bilingual programs, which cost money. Where's the money going to come from? These aren't things that these smarter than anybody else in the room Democrats haven't given any thought to. Let someone else figure it out is their attitude. President Trump, if you recall, implored the GOP at the time controlled Congress in 2017 to get him an immigration bill that he could sign. He laid out a 4-point plan. I thought it was sound. Neither then Speaker John Boehner nor Paul Ryan or Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell moved on anything about border control or immigration. When they lost control of the Congress in 2018, they left it for the Democrats to shape border policy. Now we are back to open borders. If you recall, President Trump was unable to get funding from the board for the border wall through the normal process, through the GOP-controlled Congress, and he was forced to declare our southern border a national emergency so he could take funds from other defense departments to help build the wall and seal our southern border. That was with a GOP-controlled Congress. The now Democrat-controlled Congress passed a bill to stop Trump's declaration of a national emergency. Every Democrat voted to nullify the executive declaration, and they were joined by 13 GOP members in the House. Think about that. That included Wisconsin's own Mike Gallagher and James Sensenbrenner, who's now retired. Keep that in mind in 2022 if you know people that live in Gallagher's congressional district. I think it's somewhere in the Brown County area. In the GOP-controlled Senate, after the president declared the southern border a national emergency, 13 Republican senators voted with every Democrat to try to nullify Trump's emergency declaration. If the GOP-controlled Congress would have given President Trump the funding that he needed through the normal process, he would not have had to go the national emergency route. How's that for having the GOP on your side? Now, I bring this up for a reason. Next year is a midterm election year. Sure, it's important to regain control of Congress from the Democrats. Right now, we have to rely on Joe Manchin and Christine Sinema to save us. But I don't want to have to rely on 2 Democrats. However, I am not willing to help the GOP retake Congress without a pledge by every GOP candidate up for re-election that they will support President Trump's new contract with America. If they will not, then we need to find candidates who will support the contract with America and primary those who will not. I don't play party label. I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world. I consider Democrats and Republicans the political class, the ruling class. Neither party is really on your side. They certainly weren't on President Trump's side when he needed them. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get the wrong people off the plane, the right people on the plane, the right people in the right seats, and then we can take off. We cannot skip this step, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care how many election cycles it takes. Otherwise, we will get the same establishment swamp behavior we saw in Congress when Donald Trump was president of the United States. That, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is untenable. It's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I started a nonprofit, a grassroots individual advocacy. I find that the individual doesn't have a seat at the table of state government when legislation's being crafted. If you're not a part of the donor class or you're not part of a special interest, you have no seat, you have no voice. Well, we're going to organize these individuals at the base level, the voters, and we're going to take state government back. RiseUpWisconsin.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it's go time. It is time to once again make America great again. God bless you. And may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.
All right, Sheriff Clark. Now, you know what's happening at 3 o'clock Central Time, right? President Donald J. Trump on the Jumbotron. So that's coming up at 3, and then keynote presentation by Mike Lindell. Now don't forget, we are live 24/7 at frankspeech.com. And we're also live with our TV show every night from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. And we've been interviewing a lot of great guests. We've got more shows coming exclusively to frankspeech.com. But every night, Monday through Friday, and then again on Sunday, 7 to 9, we're live from the news desk where we filmed all of our documentaries right there out of the Mid-South. So make sure you join us each night, 7 to 9 Central, because we are interviewing just so many incredible guests. And we do long-form interviews so we can really get to the issues. Well, our next speaker up, she's in her 20s. And we need more young people, don't we? Speaking up about the issue of life and liberty. She is a pro-life advocate.
All right, guys, I'm back. What did I miss?
About a very vital issue, of course. She's an author. She is a speaker. She does videos. Her videos have been featured by Prager University.
Was the sheriff racist?
And she's an ambassador with Turning Point USA. We are so glad to have with us. Will you welcome Danielle Dinesh Gill?
Danielle Dinesh Gill? Isn't it Danielle D'Souza Gill? Is this Dinesh D'Souza's daughter or wife?
Danielle D'Souza. Will you welcome her?
Is this his wife or daughter? Or
lower the mic there. How are we all doing?
both?
Are we fired up? We're ready to hear from President Trump? Woo! And let's give it up for Mike Lindell, who put together this huge event. People all over the country are watching this today.
Yeah.
And I also want to give it up for Dinesh.
More on this stream, actually.
Me. I had to go first. So he's a great guy, great dad. So
Okay.
anyways, thank you guys so much for having me. I just want to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about the censorship going on
Right.
at universities.
Nobody can speak ever.
And also the indoctrination of our youth, of young children, of primary education.
Yeah. By the way, based on the Diamond and Silk screed, I did research the price of mangoes. A $9 or $11 bag of mangoes is actually a pretty good deal at most grocery stores. So I don't even know what they're complaining about. Mangoes are not cheap. Okay, guys? The more you know.
Left. And everything that they're targeting, it's so focused on the youth. It's so focused on changing the next generation. So that's really what we need to focus on. So I just want to start by saying a little bit about myself. I grew up as a conservative. I was Christian going into college.
Oh, no.
But I wanted to go to a liberal campus because I wanted to talk about Jesus. And I said, my goal of going to college is evangelism. It's bringing people to Christ who don't know him. So many young people are very lost. So
she's found
we did a lot of tables. We did so many events, brought so many people to Christ.
What a brave thing to do.
To see just the real darkness, just the evil going on in these institutions. So many professors there are focused on brainwashing these young students who really are unfortunately unable to hear from a lot of conservative speakers. They're unable to hear a lot of the other side. And so as I went through school,
guys, she found people had been indoctrinated by education, so she went to fight that by telling them about Jesus.
Beyond, it's just as soon as I started supporting President Trump, and my school was in New Hampshire, so a swing state, so really wanted to get out as many people as we could, and I tweeted something saying, I voted for President Trump, but the Lord is King of Kings.
Right.
And that set off this huge firestorm with everyone.
Trump's high,
campus,
but Jesus is higher.
I got questioned by my teachers. I got kicked out of every other, club I was in. And when I was questioned by some of my teachers, they would say, how can you, support such an evil, racist, misogynistic person? And I would say, the fact that
that's my dad you're talking about.
Who President Trump even actually is just so sad. And so just talking about him was so shocking to them because they live in this echo chamber, in this bubble. And I actually told them, I said, the founding motto of this college was Vox Clementis in Deserto, which is lone voice in the wilderness. And the fact that you are persecuting someone who's a lone voice in the wilderness just shows how far you've gone from your original mission, which was actually Christianity. A lot of these schools were founded by people who wanted to bring, my school at least, American Indians to Christ.
Well, things have changed.
We're so far away from that.
What's her name? Daisy Dinesh D'Souza?
I was in a class
Gil?
once where they said,
Danielle.
There are two types of people in America. There are the people who love America, like Thomas Jefferson. They actually mentioned my dad as a modern person who loves America. And then they said on the other side, there's those who hate America, who know it's evil, who know it's racist. So the students who believe they love America go over here, and those who hate America go over here.
Right.
And so all the students went on the side that said they hate America, and I was the only one on the other side. So
that never happened.
I was really shocked by that. But I think that so many people around the country, they just don't see how when we start out with these
because they hate America,
those people end up growing up and they graduate and they go into the world. They end up becoming reporters at, Washington Post. They join CNN. They end up owning businesses. They join these social media tech companies to cancel us. And so this culture on the campus ends up emanating out into the real world. They join Antifa, all of this.
They join.
And so when I went to college, I said, I want to join the Trump team.
There's almost no
I was
Antifa.
with Women for Trump. We traveled around the country doing the bus tour, the pink bus. Got to meet so many young ladies and other people. And brought them over to the Trump campaign, and I think just seeing how fearless President Trump was and how he was never afraid of the media. He was never afraid of his critics. And so I think seeing that was just so inspiring, because I think so much of the time we don't see people fight back. We don't see our politicians actually, speak to the people who support them. Instead, they try to speak to...
The message I'm getting overall from the speakers is we're constantly the victims of everybody not letting us speak, not letting us espouse our ideology. We are not only godly, but we are moral, and we are good, and we are smarter, and we are right. And why can't they just let us do whatever the hell we want all the time? That's the message here.
He said, I think we need more brave young people out there. And I said, well, do you ever get afraid? Do you ever get kind of, does it ever get to you, the criticism of the left? And I thought, of course, he'd say, no, it doesn't get to me. But he said it sometimes does. And so then I said, well, you have so many people out there who will never give up on you. And I think just knowing he's not going to give up. Trump, that's not who he is. He has an undying courage. He has undying faithfulness to all of these forgotten men and women of America. And so I think that was the most powerful thing to me about him, was just that he speaks for every forgotten man and woman who is on the campus, who is out working. They're just completely censored and silenced. And just to
by
go
who?
To this goal of the left, to go after youth indoctrination. I mean, they're putting out so much propaganda to make us believe that there are no gender. There
are no gender.
No identity outside of your race. All of these things they're pushing on young kids who don't know anything about any of this. And we need to shield them from all of this. So if you're able to join a school board or you're able to fight back against this, we have to do this in our local communities, because there are so many of us who can speak up. And people always say, what can I do? How can I speak up against this? But you actually can. There are so many things that we can do to stop them. And I know most Americans, they're not okay with this. They're not okay with this happening.
Most U.S. Americans.
Areas in California and New York, parents say this is gross. This is not okay. We can't allow young kids to be brainwashed like this. And I also just quickly want to talk about abortion.
Right.
And how the left is so focused on 9-month abortions. They've become so radical.
No one wants that.
For them to have any limit on abortion. And the fact that Mississippi is...
In my entire life, I can tell you with 100% certainty, I've never met anyone who's trying to increase the number of abortions. I've never, ever come across such a person.
As Governor Ralph Northam in Virginia talked about, who's buddies with Biden, that they can still be kept comfortable, and a discussion will ensue as to what will happen to them next. Governor Cuomo, he's lit up the Freedom Tower pink to celebrate 9-month abortions for no medical
reason, Cuomo.
No life of the mother or complication. Yes. They've appropriated this as a women's issue, as if this is good for women, and in fact, it harms so many women. And if you're a woman who says that you're against this or you regretted that, the left cancels you. They want absolutely nothing to do with you because they like to celebrate abortion and make it...
Nobody celebrates it.
Something good for women. They even sometimes argue it's good for the baby to be killed. They will say things like, this child is better off dead if they're poor. This child is better off dead if they have Down syndrome, or whatever it may be. And as we know, every single life is worth fighting for. Every life is worth living. It's not up to the left to say a life isn't worth living. They shouldn't get to decide that.
Now, of course, if a fetus is a person, then they would never deport any pregnant undocumented immigrant, right? Because there's if it was conceived in the United States, then it's a U.S. citizen at conception, and they would always say never deport, never ever deport a pregnant woman. We would never do that.
The left has really, I think, realized that this issue is a losing issue for them, yet they continue to dig in on it. And they've already basically planned for the Supreme Court to either overturn Roe v. Wade or roll back.
Yeah, The truth is, more Americans than at any previous time think abortion should be legal in most cases. So I don't see how you can say it's a losing issue. I don't hear the left really talk that much about abortion at this point because it is legal. But the country is more on the side of abortion mostly being legal now than it has ever been before.
Loves to act like everybody does, but they don't. And I think if we really think about, too, just what it means to be an American, who is our next generation, these are these little babies, and they are the most silenced. They're the most censored. They're the most voiceless in our society. And so we are really the only people who can speak for them. No one else will speak for them. And President Trump was, one of our most pro-life presidents we've ever had, speaking at the March for Life.
Pro-choice till age 68.
So
Became pro-life 6 months before running for president.
To that issue, supported Susan B. Anthony list, so many things. And so I think we need to keep that in the forefront of our minds, and that this is a life and death issue. And, it's not like politics is over here and our faith is over here. Our faith has to influence everything that we do, and our relationships, our work, and our life, how we vote for all these things, because it affects life and death. It affects human beings. And I think when we even look now to where we're going from here, I think we can only look back to a time when things were in so much turmoil like they are today. And that was when Abraham Lincoln, in the Civil War, he said, "Without God's help, we cannot succeed. With it, we cannot fail." So we need to keep prayer central to everything we do, all of our actions.
What is this speech about?
Action, we are doing that for the Lord. And I just want to end it on the words of President Trump, which is that the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Wow, what a disgusting speech.
Danielle D'Souza Gill. Thank you, Danielle.
Wow, horrifying.
Well, do you think her dad is proud? You want to know why she's so sharp? She's got a father that has been leading the way in the conservative movement for many years.
You'll see where she gets disconnected from reality.
America as an exchange student, and he was named one of the up-and-coming young people. And his...
Hey, real quick, just to catch up on some thank yous. Thank you to Nug Wrangler for gifting 5 subs, as well as Sling Blade and Great Job Spaghetti, Ignay and Baloney, Kill Eric, and Fearless Freckles. Very much appreciate that, putting us at a really strong 91. Also on the website, coupon code MyPillow50, only today. Juliet Smith Nick has just signed up on my website. Also want to say thanks to Maria Boisvert, who just used the coupon code MyPillow50. And Jill Sobel, using the coupon code MyPillow50. Absolutely love it. Let's get now to Dinesh D'Souza. Oh my God, this is horrifying. This guy is disgusting. I'm just warning you. Get the kids out of the room, please.
Wow. This is incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever spoken at a rally before. This is awesome.
There's a reason for that.
Flags, the hats, the enthusiasm. This is fantastic. Hey, I was 17 years old when I first saw America.
Right.
I was an exchange student from India. I came on the airplane initially into JFK. And I kind of remember the airplane descending, and I looked exhaustedly out of the window, and I kind of saw the skyline of New York. I saw the Statue of Liberty in the distance. And I thought to myself, even then, when I wasn't really thinking politically in any way, I thought to myself, Dinesh, your life is going to be very different from this moment on.
How many lives could I ruin in this country?
You're moving from the margin of the world to the center. And you're coming to a country that is different than other countries. Later, I would understand that, historians call this American exceptionalism. But for me, what American exceptionalism meant is that I was coming to a country where if I stayed, I could become the author of my own destiny.
And of his own propaganda books.
I could become the architect of my own future. I could be in the driver's seat of my own life. When we think of America, we think of opportunity. We think of the great material abundance of America. And I did see all that. In fact, I was placed to live for the first few months with a host family. This was in Patagonia, Arizona, a small town on the Mexican border. And my host family says, "Oh, Dinesh, we've planned all this sightseeing for you. We're going to take you to the Grand Canyon. We're going to take you to Tombstone, Arizona, the site of the gunfight at the OK Corral." And I was like, "Guys, you know, I'd like to do all that, but the kind of sightseeing I have in mind is I'd like you to take me to the supermarket because I want to see 35 types of cheese and 40 types of ice cream." You know, the rich guy lives well everywhere in the world. One of the things that struck me about America is that it's a country where the ordinary guy can have a good life.
Healthcare?
And it isn't just about making your life better or having more. It's also about the notion that in other countries your destiny is to a large degree given to you.
Hey guys, I do want to briefly interrupt this disgusting screed. Apparently, there has just been an attempt to hijack an airplane. There is video of it. And what we know right now, we'll look at the video in a second. The man made an announcement that we needed to be close to our oxygen masks and proceeded to try and open the door. They then called all the strong men to the front of the plane to restrain him. We ended up landing in Oklahoma City. He was trying to open the door to the outside, not the cockpit. Look at this just happened. Absolute chaos. This was a flight from LAX to Atlanta.
No, they're the enemy. Stop! I'm going to right now. I'm going to jail. I'm begging you. I beg you. I beg you. I beg you. Go down. Go down. Stop. Get it down. Keep it down.
Now, fortunately, it would be extremely difficult to actually get it open in the air, even if you knew how to do it. The force on the door is built in a very particular way where, if I recall correctly, the pressure pulls on the door and you have to open the door in, and at altitude it would be extraordinarily difficult to do. But the guy was taken down and grabbed. I'll look for more information about this, but that is the latest that I've heard. Now, we all have all the same information. Back to Dinesh.
I felt the sting of this America myself when I stood up in a courtroom and I heard the following phrase: United States of America versus Dinesh D'Souza. Whoa.
D'Souza.
No immigrant wants to hear that sound. And then, as I began to deal with these, I would call them Obama lawyers. In other words, they're lawyers that are part of the Southern District of New York. This is the very outfit that's going after Trump. By the way, headed at the time by this Asian Indian guy named Preet Bharara.
Whoa, Asian Indian.
Head waiter, I call him. But these guys, I realized, were not interested in any kind of justice at all. They were like, Dinesh, did you exceed the campaign finance laws? I'm like, you know what? I was trying to help a college friend of mine, and so I did.
Oh, so you broke the law.
I expect the same penalty as anybody else who did the same thing. And they were like, not so fast. We're going to get you on bank fraud. I'm like, bank fraud? They go, yeah, because you took your money out of your bank account. I go, what? They said, we're going to get you on mail fraud. And I go, mail fraud? And they go, yeah, because you put your check in the mail.
Whoa.
And I was like, I turned to my lawyer and I said, what's really going on? And he goes, what's going on, Dinesh, is that these guys, these sons of bitches, if I can call them that, they're taking the same laws that were passed to go after ISIS and the mafia, and they're using it against fellow American citizens. Why? Because from the perspective of Obama and the people around him, you're not a critic, you're not a dissident, you're not even an immigrant who doesn't understand America. You're an enemy and they have to take you out. That's their psychology. And little did I know then, this is going back to 2012, 2013, that all of this little case of mine would then be multiplied 100-fold, and we'd see it with General Flynn, we'd see it with Papadopoulos.
They were all sandbagged, guys. It's all unfair.
Well, what is it? It's the gangsterization of the left. And who is the head of the snake? How did this start? How did we get this America? You know, it started with Obama.
Right.
He's
Everything was fine.
He is the snake. Now, the reason I say this is because before Obama, I'm not saying that the Democrats were doing great, but the Democrats were sort of in the Jimmy Carter mode. And Jimmy Carter, I think if you were to give an award for presidential nincompoopery to the dumbest, most ineffective president, certainly of the 20th century, I think Jimmy Carter wins hands down.
What a great
Now,
speaker.
some people may say, well, actually, he's getting some competition from Biden. Because here's another guy who really doesn't, he's sitting in the canoe.
Aren't
but
we
he's
in the
not
21st
manning the
century now?
oars. I don't think he even knows there is a canoe.
This guy's really boring, yeah.
So he moves his mouth, but most of the time, if you look at his eyes, they're vacant. He's staring mindlessly into the distance. He's, in a sense, a ventriloquist doll, and others are manipulating the strings. But coming back to Obama,
probably Antifa holds the
my
string.
great sin really was not giving $20,000 to my college buddy Wendy Long. My real sin was to take on the most powerful man in the world, this vindictive narcissist Obama, in the White House by making a movie about him.
The movie was a disaster. It was one of the worst movies.
And to give you an idea of what a low, disgusting, nauseating character this fellow is, it's really his hypocrisy that I think I expose most of all. Because here's a guy who's been going around, he's still going around doing it, we are a brother's keeper. The fact of the matter is, this is a guy who doesn't lift a finger to help anyone in his own family. In the movie, if you saw 2016 Obama's America, I interviewed Obama's brother, George, who lives in a hut in Nairobi in conditions that resemble Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah, really explosive interview.
Basically, one of Obama's aunts died in Kenya. This is actually his father's sister. And the family had to appeal to Kenyans to provide money, to donate money for the funeral. A couple of years ago, I was in my office in the King's College, and I get a call, and it's from Obama's brother, George Obama. And George says to me, Dinesh, he goes, I hate to call you. He goes, but my little son, who's at the time 6 months or 9 months old, is very sick. Could you please send me $1,000? And I had met George Obama when I was interviewing him for the movie, so I'm like, George, and he's a little bit of a shyster, so I said, George, are you at the hospital now? He goes, yeah.
Shyster's anti-Semitic, right?
Hand the phone over to the nurse. And then I asked the nurse, I said, is it true that George has a son and he's very sick? And the nurse goes, yes, it's true. So I said, George, I'll send you $1,000 by Western Union, but before I do that, I have one question for you. Isn't there someone else you can call?
Oh, no, apparently the connection to Shylock is not accurate.
No.
It's not clear.
This is
it's
the
not
soul
clear.
of Barack Obama. This is who he is. but he hates to have it pointed out because if you do, he wants to go after you. And the good news is that even though I was a little dumb, I was a little naive,
Uh-oh.
I should have realized there's a big sign on my back. The simple truth of it is, they took a bunch of shots at me, and I'm still here.
Imagine being at this thing. I would be so bored.
Let's just say they tried to silence me, and it didn't work. They even tried to give me mandatory psychiatric therapy, and that didn't work.
It didn't work. That's true. It definitely failed. Yeah, I agree on that.
And then in the summer of 2018, I was at home, and the phone rings, and I pick it up.
It clearly didn't work.
It's Trump. Wow. He's like, "Hey, Dinesh, I'm here with John Kelly. You know John Kelly, don't you?" I'm like, "No." I know who he is. But then Trump says, "Well, you know, I got to turn to your case." He goes, "I got to tell you, from the beginning, I knew it was total bullshit." And I was like, And then Trump began to talk about my case, but I realized I wasn't even listening to him because I knew what was happening. What was happening is that
this is a weird story.
I was about to get a presidential pardon, which would give me all my rights back. And I can vote again. But even more important was what went, and this is kind of interesting about a conversation, the things that go unsaid. And what went unsaid, he didn't say it, I didn't say it, we both knew it, is that in the act of doing that, Trump knew, and I knew, that he was delivering a giant up yours to the Obama administration.
Right. That's actually all that Trump cared about. This guy's really thirsty, huh?
And then he basically said, "Dinesh, listen, don't tell anyone about this until I tweet about it in the morning." Which brings me to the issue of censorship. Because, look, I did not believe in the America that I came to in 1978 that we would be at this point, in which we have seen a sustained assault, not just on our economy. We're not just dealing with the kind of socialism that reaches into your pocketbook, undermines the currency through inflation,
it's funny.
Confiscatory
Biden has literally changed nothing about tax policy yet. How could it's already socialism, Dinesh?
Socialism was all about class warfare. And the Democrats are practicing class warfare, by the way, not on behalf of the poor against the rich, but on behalf of the rich against the poor.
Ooh.
On behalf of the elite against the ordinary guy. That's their class warfare. But it's far more than that. They have unleashed gangs, paramilitary gangs on the street, Antifa, Black Lives Matter. All of this is done in the name of justice. What justice? Anti-fascism. Now look, I'm not scared of these guys. Anti-fascism. These are basically misfit kids coming out of mom's basement. Complete losers. "Hey mom, where's my Halloween costume? I'm gonna go fight some fascists." Dummies. But they're not gonna pick on somebody who's their size. They're gonna go to some restaurant and harass the people who are eating over there. Are they fascists? How do you know? They burn small businesses, they torch churches.
He's having an entire bottle of water.
A lesson. And by the law. The law needs to do to them what their parents didn't do, which is grab them by the lapels and hold them accountable. Now, It's one thing to say that academia is rotted from the core. It is. It's one thing to say that the media is rotted from the core. It is. These people are habitual liars. They're not biased. They're not mistaken. They know the truth, but they conceal it. I'll give you an example, a concrete example in my own case. Several years ago, a reporter trying to do a hit job on me, and this was digging into my past when I was a young renegade at the Dartmouth Review in my college years. I'm 60, but we're in an age where people attack you for what you did when you were 20. And so this guy goes, when Dinesh was a student, he published an article in which he said, the question is not whether women should be educated at Dartmouth, the question is whether women should be educated at all. Which I confess is kind of funny. Except, I didn't say it. Some other guy wrote this in an article, and it appeared in the Dartmouth Review, but it wasn't my word. So I called
This is depressing.
By the way, this was a Pulitzer Prize-winning writer, Fox Butterfield of the New York Times. Notice that I always like to name names. And so I thought, in decency, let me just call up Fox Butterfield, and I'll say, hey, Mr. Butterfield, you just got it wrong. You tried to score a hit on me, but you missed because I didn't say it. And Fox Butterfield goes, well, you wrote an article about the Dartmouth Review years later in which you quoted that line. So you did say it. And I said, if I said it by quoting it, you've now said it by quoting my article. But what I'm getting at is that this guy was so duplicitous, so shameless, so utterly lacking in basic journalistic integrity, and he's a model of the profession. He's at the top newspaper in the country. Well, I think we now realize what we're dealing with media. We're dealing with people who are hitmen for the left. That's how you have to look at them. And so my simple recipe for the media is, do not believe anything they say, even when it's true. Now, this may seem a little shocking for me to say.
The crowd's already doing that.
The proviso, even when it's true, but here's my reasoning. Let's say you meet a guy and he's a habitual liar. 75% of the time he's lying. 25% of the time he's telling the truth. Who the hell has the time to sort it out? He's a liar. Don't believe one word he says, even if it's true. And the same is true of the media. Whatever they say, don't believe it. Why? Because if you don't believe it, you're likely to be right. Most likely you'll be right. Once in a while you'll be wrong. But then
believe Trump instead, yeah. What Trump says you can believe.
It's really important, by the way. It's really bad that we on the right have let the left develop this monopoly on the institutions of culture. The media, Hollywood, the entertainment industry. But now we see how aggressive they are, how discontented they are. They're not content, even though they have almost, you think they'd be like, wow, we got academia, we got the elementary and secondary schools, we got the media, we got Hollywood. That's enough. No, they want the NFL. They want the Boy Scouts. They want the music industry. They're even going after these corporations, the woke corporations. One of the things that I find in terms of censorship, it's not just digital censorship.
Right.
Yeah, that's the tip of the iceberg. And look how fundamentally dishonest these digital censors are. Basically, if you follow the Fauci emails, look at the way in which he was communicating with Zuckerberg, communicating with Bill Gates. He was communicating regularly with Chris Cuomo at CNN. Why? Because that's Fauci. He's a PR guy. And he's all about controlling the discourse. Fauci knew, you can tell from his emails, that, hey, the virus might have come from the wet market, but there's not one iota of evidence to this date that it did. None. Nobody's tested wet market guys and shown that they had the virus before anybody else. The Chinese won't allow that kind of testing. The virus probably came from the lab. And it was probably made in the lab. I don't
There's
mean
no
made
evidence
out
of that.
nothing. I mean, they take these deadly viruses and they make them more contagious. And
There's
they make
no
them
evidence
more
of that.
lethal. And so, and this is done, by the way, with support of people like Fauci, who are funding American labs that do the same thing and work in collaboration with Wuhan. So what happened is, when they realized that there was a global epidemic, however it got out, and I'm not even ruling out the possibility that it was a biological weapon, it was deliberately released.
There's no evidence of that, though.
You think the Chinese are sort of too high and too moral to do that?
See, what's weird about this is he says, you know, Fauci didn't present evidence that it came from the wet market, and so we shouldn't believe that. And he says, could be a bioweapon. He's not presenting any evidence for that. And absent evidence to believe that, wouldn't we believe the simplest explanation?
Remember how the Chernobyl accident shut down the whole nuclear industry for a whole generation? They realized that's going to happen to us. And so they realized not only do we have to pretend that we didn't do it, it's kind of like a guy it's one thing if you make a mistake and you hit somebody on the highway. It's a whole other thing when you do hit and run. And then you say, let's go wash the car. Let's take off all the traces of blood. And then you go one step further. Let's blame it on some other guy. Let's let him take the responsibility. That's what's going on here. And so what you see here, and it's very dismaying in America, as I say, it's one thing if it's media, it's one thing if it's academia, but who knew that our health agencies were corrupt?
He's got a rap.
Who knew that our police agencies of government? My idea when I was a kid of the FBI was gotten from the movie The Untouchables. Wow, these are guys going after the mafia. They're taking down the bad guys. No, they are the bad guys. Yeah, they are the bad guys. And you know why? Because a thug with a badge is a lot more dangerous than a thug on the street. A thug with a badge comes with the authority of law. Madam, would you open your door? Here's my badge. And so corruption at this level should be punished 5 times more than corruption of the ordinary kind.
Says who? What is this guy talking about?
And yet, you see in case after case that there's no accountability at all. Now, censorship. I noticed it's reaching a totally new level when I made the movie Trump Card, which is the latest film.
Great film. Oh,
You
yeah.
haven't seen it, by the way. It's worth watching. It's based on my book, United States of Socialism.
It's terrible.
And that's where we're headed. We're headed to Caracas. We're headed to Venezuela. We're headed to a society in which if we don't stop this, we will see total breakdown. Very bad. But interestingly, when I was making the movie Trump Card, I noticed that all kinds of people who had worked with me before, people in Hollywood, big movie houses and producers, people
They suddenly hate me. Now that they know me, they hate me.
all of them backed off when they saw the word Trump. Trump's name was sort of radioactive. The company that made the trailer for the movie Infidel, terrific people, great trailer. They're like, we'll make Infidel, we won't make Trump Card. We're out.
Right.
When the movie came out, Trump Card did, suddenly you found it was supposed to be up on Amazon Prime. You couldn't get it. You got it eventually, but really close to the election. Thousands of people ordered DVDs. They were like out of stock on day 2, even though they had the DVDs. So what you have here is a new phenomenon, which is even the institutions of commerce. At one time when I studied economics, you get the idea that these people are motivated by business. They want to make a profit. They want more customers. They're motivated by money. No. You think Jack Dorsey is motivated by money? He has a lot of money. He's motivated by ideology. He's probably also been motivated by a demented psychology. These guys, I mean,
You
just
would
look
know.
at them. Dorsey, he's not a normal person. He hasn't had a normal life. He probably wasn't treated as normal in high school. So these are guys who were treated as dorks and nerds and weirdos because they are.
Dinesh was the cool guy in high school. That's why he's so normal.
Zuckerberg's a robot. And what you have is these guys now, about 4 of them, unbelievably, are controlling the public square and the public discourse of the United States of America. That's a fact. That's a fact. And people say, well, you know, even on the right, you'll have Republicans, and this is the problem with the old school, is that the old school Republican, or even the Reagan Republican, doesn't realize we're not living in the Reagan era. Wake up. We're facing threats far more serious than we did then. And so the strategies that worked then don't work now.
Yeah, the crowd's dead.
So stop acting like Rip Van Winkle.
How long has this guy been going? Do we know?
So what's happening now is that there is an effort to shut us down. There's an effort to turn us into worms. That was the point that George Orwell makes in 1984. There's a scene that I recreated in the movie Trump Card, in which the hero, this guy named Winston, has been captured by the state, the socialist state. It's called Big Brother. And Big Brother, the interrogator representing Big Brother, a guy named O'Brien, is trying to convince Winston to admit that 2 + 2 is 5.
Dude, the crowd hasn't read the book, man. This is not the crowd for literature.
Yes, you are. 2 + 2 is 5. Say it. And Winston goes, listen, you've taken my money, you've destroyed my family, you've taken my house, you've taken everything from me, but the one freedom I'm going to hold on to, I'm not going to give it up, is the freedom to insist that 2 + 2 is 4.
Yeah.
And so they grab him, and they do to him what they're doing to the January 6th protesters: solitary confinement, psychological torture, sensory deprivation, no food. He starts to have hallucinations.
Wait a second.
And he breaks down.
They're denying the Trump rioters food, and they're doing sensory deprivation? This is the first I've heard of that.
5. Can I go now?
Please go.
And here is where the plot really takes off, because Big Brother says, in the form of this guy O'Brien, he says, no, Winston, you can't go. Why? Because in your mind, you still think it's 4. In other words, we, the state, are not content with you publicly saying one thing and believing another. You have to believe what we say, inwardly. And so, we're going to continue to torture you and break you down until you give not just outward, but inward assent. So this is really what socialist states are after. This is the true meaning of tyranny, because it doesn't just crush your body, it also crushes your soul. It crushes your soul. Now, are we going to let this happen in America, yes or no? No. And we are in the position to stop it in all kinds of ways. We just have to realize that this is not the peacetime civics book debating society politics of the 1980s. Rather, we have to do to them what they are doing to us.
This is soul crushing, I agree.
Stop. During the Civil War, early in the war, around 1863, Lincoln decided for the first time to deploy black soldiers. And the Confederacy, outraged by this, passed an edict, a law, that said any black Union soldier captured by the Confederacy will be shot. This would not, by the way, be the fate of white soldiers who would be normal prisoners of war, but black soldiers would be executed. And when this came to Lincoln's desk, he issued what has now come to be known by historians as the Order of Retaliation. And the Order of Retaliation is very simple. For every black Union soldier executed against the laws of war.
Yeah, it's actually hard to imagine a worse lineup of just nonsense. It's completely vapid, meaningless nonsense of the highest or lowest level. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just drivel. And the crowd is like, they sort of seem into it, but they also kind of don't. I guess there's just nothing better to do in New Richmond, Wisconsin. I don't know.
I don't know how I'm doing on time.
You're way over,
What
dude.
I want to do is talk a little bit about where I think we need to go.
Oh, no.
In the years ahead.
Oh, God.
Because a lot of people naively think, yes, we should send speakers to the universities to try to turn them around. You can't turn them around. They're too far gone. Let's try to make movies in Hollywood. We should. I do. But Hollywood as an institution is aesthetically and morally rotted. It's gone. You want to watch a movie? Go watch an old movie. Watch a movie made by a Hollywood that at one time did love America. Watch a movie that celebrates heroism and family and patriotism and individualism.
Yeah.
Not the sick.
Let me get caught up just making sure I'm thanking everybody. Afro Thunder and Bowflex Man grabbed a Twitch Prime subscriptions, which I really, really appreciate. I also want to say thank you over on my website. William Bishop III just grabbed a membership with the coupon code MyPillow50. It's a one-day coupon code. Carlos Gonzalez grabbed a beautifully discounted membership, and Leonard Ursery also signing up with the coupon code MyPillow50. At least we're turning it into something good, because it is vile and disgusting what's going on here.
What's called anti-Americanism is actually a healthy moral response against these sickos.
Zickos.
Now, censorship. I think we've got, this is the issue of all issues. It's
Not
the
really.
issue that
Because it's not happening.
voter fraud. Why? Because voter fraud is one thing, but if you can't even talk about it, that's a whole other thing.
Right.
And the very fact that we can't talk about it makes the whole thing, let's just say, a little suspicious. Right? It's kind of like, and the same is true, by the way, of these voter integrity laws. The left's reaction tells you everything you need to know. It's kind of like if I have a maid that comes over to my house once a week, and suddenly I notice that my wedding ring or my watch has gone missing. I'm like, I wonder, did the maid take it? Maid goes, no, I didn't take it. No. So I say, okay, I don't know. But what I'm going to do going forward is I'm going to make sure I put my watch in the safe. And what I'm going to do is also have a couple of cameras so I can kind of see what's going on in my house when I'm not there.
Right.
And what if the maid responds by saying, oh no, that would be racist. It will reduce my incentive. It will reduce the incentive of people of color to come and work in your house. And I'm like, I'm a person of color. This has nothing to do with race. This has something to do with my watch that went missing last month. So the intense opposition to establishing reasonable methods of preventing this in the future tells you, makes you smell a rat. It confirms your suspicion that something very bad must have happened. Because if it didn't, they'd be all for the audit. Come take a look at the votes. Let's do 5 recounts. Maricopa, we welcome it. They're scared of Maricopa because if Maricopa falls, Arizona falls. If Arizona falls, Georgia's next. That's why they're scared.
This is wild. Now the crowd's into it. 5 recounts. Can you imagine? Yeah, do 6. Who's going to oppose number 6, huh? That's suspicious.
And for the press, it's all about playing this little namby-pamby game. So like right before I come up here, I'm cornered by some guy, I'm writing an article for Rolling Stone. I'm like, so? He's like, do you endorse Mike Lindell's theories? I'm like, I need to see what the hell has been going on. I want the facts. And what annoys me is I don't see adjudication of the kinds of things that people are worried about. If you want to have a democracy where people believe in the system, why not have open adjudication? Well, people are making a lot of baseless claims. Well, a claim is only baseless until it's adjudicated. Then it has a base.
Man.
So let's see. That's all I'm saying. I'm taking the agnostic position. I want to see.
The problem with these guys constantly claiming they just want to see, they're just asking the questions, is they'll never be... We've done all of this stuff already. We've done it. They will never be satisfied. And I did a really good interview with Andy Norman earlier this week. Good in the sense that he was really good in it. Not patting myself on the back. He was just really good in it. Where he explains that there's a difference between healthy skepticism and unending cynicism, which can be weaponized. And that's exactly what they're doing here. And he's weaponizing it while drinking just liters of water.
Of a namby-pamby way. So we say things like, I don't like what Disney's doing. I'm not going to go to Disney.
All right.
I'm going to cancel my subscription to Disney Plus.
We'll do it then.
Nah, they don't care about that. What you have to figure out is how you can do something that causes them intense and repeated pain. That's what you have to think about. Now, a couple of years ago, in 2014, 2015, I published a book called America, a defense of a kind of rational patriotism. My motto was the motto of Edmund Burke, who said,
those
to love
books
our country,
are so stupid.
Our country should be lovely. Anyway, my book is out there. It's doing really well. And suddenly I get a call from a...
there's so many interesting things to read. Like I've got a stack of books. I just read Red Notice by Bill Browder. I'm reading Blitz Scaling by Reid Hoffman. Super interesting about rapidly scaling businesses. And there's just so much in anything with philosophy. Who would go and read this guy's book as what you choose to read? It's got to be people who don't read anything else, right? I can't even imagine.
My book. So it could be that there's some store manager that's like mad and like, let's move Dinesh's books in the back. He's like, no, your book is unavailable in any American Costco in the whole nation.
Costco.
And I thought to myself, wow, how's that going to happen?
He has a right to sell in
The only way for it to
Costco.
happen is for the CEO or somebody very high up to give an order, pull this guy's books out of Costco. Now, how does that happen? Think about it. The way that happens is like this. The CEO of Costco is a huge Obama supporter. So what happened, and I'm only inferring this, but it's going to be something very close to this.
Okay,
Is some
so
big
he doesn't
Obama
know.
guy, someone,
He has no idea.
Rahm Emanuel.
No evidence.
Walks into Costco.
He admits.
Goes, oh my God, there's Dinesh's book. Let's make a couple of phone calls. And so Costco, very eager to please, says, okay, Mr. Emanuel, or okay, Mr. Whoever, we'll pull the book.
Right.
That's what happens.
And there it is.
And you may think, that's it. What else can we do? Costco's
Adjudicated.
a giant corporation, tens of billions of dollars. Well, I'm giving you this story because it shows kind of the way to fight back.
Yeah.
So what happens is this journalist who called me writes an article on a website. It's a small website. It's called WorldNet Daily. And he exposes this, and people
Toxic
get really
conspiracy
mad. There are
website.
About 1,000 people raging against Costco.
Disgusting
but
website.
on the WorldNet Daily website.
Yeah, that website is
And Costco
banned.
couldn't care less. But then somebody in that group had a brilliant idea, and this is the kind of idea you should spend half your day thinking about.
Right. At
The
least.
idea is, why are we raging on WorldNet Daily? Let's all mosey over to the Costco website and let's trash the Costco website.
More canceling. They're supposed to be
Why?
against this stuff.
Because Costco does a big chunk of its global business off of its website.
Right.
And so what happened is, this little snowball began...
Go leave bad reviews on the one-ply toilet paper that Costco sells. Really hit them where it hurts, guys.
And these people were a little pissed because not only were they complaining about my book, but they were going to every single Costco product on the site and announcing that it sucks.
Ooh.
The grills suck. The food sucks. The clothes are horrible. They're cheaply made. And they would post photos of themselves cutting up their Costco executive.
Hey, by the way, Costco sells clothes? I've never been to a Costco. Do they sell clothes? I didn't know that.
Now, this is what I call activism. Why? Because it is a direct kick.
They do? Oh, interesting. Wow.
Literally, once this happened, within one day, I get an emergency phone call from Costco. The CEO wants to fly me up to Seattle to talk to me one-on-one.
Emergency.
He buys my ticket. I go up there, and I kid you not, the little weasel is actually crying.
Oh,
He's crying.
Shut up.
And the first words out of his mouth is, Dinesh, you are destroying Costco. I'm like,
could this be a real story?
multi-billion-dollar corporation? Not bad. Not bad. Who's next? So, anyway, Brandon, I'm almost done. So basically,
please get off.
The bottom line of it is, I said to him, hey, listen, I'm not trying to pick a fight with you. I said, you have antagonized your own customers. What kind of a businessman are you? A lot of your customers are conservative. Why would you take a Patriots book out of your store on the 4th of July? What kind of business judgment does that show? And so I left. I left on good terms. I flew back to San Diego, and literally by the time I landed, Costco had reversed its decision. Not only did they put my books back, but they constructed a giant standee. So when my movie came out, I had hundreds of DVDs exhibited all over Costco. And in all honesty, I've had excellent relations with them ever since. I wasn't out to get them. I was just out to reform them.
Right.
But the way to reform them is to make sure they hear you. So when it comes to Disney Plus, when it comes to Lockheed, when it comes to all these corporations,
he called Marilyn Lockheed.
Sure they hear you. They're not the lion. You're the lion. Make sure that they hear you roar. Thank you very much.
Leave fraudulent reviews to get attention is the message from Dinesh D'Souza. There he goes. Wow, what oratory. Did he also say that they were doing something with BVDs? Oh my God, he's back. Why is he back?
If I can say one brief thing before I leave.
Please
I'm now
don't.
doing a daily podcast, guys.
Oh, no.
I do it in audio and video. It's on audio on Apple, Spotify, Google.
It's on Apple.
Video. It's on YouTube. It's on Rumble. I'm going to put it up on Frank's Speech.
It's on Orange and Banana as well.
It's my chance. I've never had a regular podium, but this is my way every day to identify the left, identify the bad guys, and give it to them. Thank you very much.
There it is. He's never seen a grift he didn't like.
Dinesh D'Souza.
Dinesh.
All right, we are about an hour and 6 minutes from the keynote presentation of two great keynote presentations yet to come. President Donald J. Trump on the Jumbotron, and then Mike Lindell.
Right.
So we're excited. Well, our next speaker, he is all right, we're going to test some audio. All right, hang on.
Yeah. All right, guys, listen, that's going to do it for me. I've done 3.5 hours. That's about all I can take. I do need to take a mental health break because I do think I just dropped about 4 IQ points during this thing. So if you really want to keep watching this, you'll have to do it, I guess, on frankspeech.com. But that's going to just do it. I can't do anymore. I don't think we're going to learn anymore. But if the Trump speech is wacky, I'll clip it and talk about it on Monday. All right, guys, it's just too much. It's just too much. So I apologize to everybody. If you want a mercy ban, you can ask for it, and we may accommodate. Okay, everybody, we'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining me. Real pleasure having everybody.